Dundun State Park hopes to break ground on the next phase of that project in the coming months. The plan was first proposed by the Pavilion Group partners in 2010. But despite securing a long-term lease from the state, efforts to bring fine dining and a banquet center have stalled. The effort even required the General Assembly to pass special legislation to overturn several rulings denying a liquor license to those developers. Chuck Williams is the principal of Pavilion Partners, but he is also the treasurer for the Indiana Republican Party. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game set with the rival Cardinals this afternoon. White Sox begin a 3-game series with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. Bears wideout Cameron Meredith suffered a severe thumb injury during OTAs yesterday. Meredith will miss the rest of the Chicago offseason program. And UIC will clash with Southern Miss in an opening round game in Hattiesburg, Mississippi, and the College Baseball World Series Regionals this afternoon. UIC, the only Illinois Division I school in the tournament. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99, plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery. That's all you need. 5:06 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Anarchists taking to the streets. Hollywood more vocal than ever. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer making baseless accusations on a daily basis.
And again, the facts are what are important.
And the press has lost all objectivity, responsibility, and quite possibly their minds. One thing is for certain. We must be doing something right. Keep calm and listen. AM 560, The Answer.
Change in the market shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. In fact, since World War II, we've seen a correction on average about once every 18 months. That's why Arlington Capital Management developed proprietary tools that help them to see what's beyond your investment horizon. Like an experienced ship captain uses tools to avoid stormy weather, Arlington Capital Management uses tools to guide you through market corrections before it's too late and help us decide when to capitalize on opportunity. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 to learn how their active management systems can help you. Each day, they actively explore the market, our economy, and all the variables that affect your investments. Stormy markets never cloud their vision. The professionals at Arlington Capital Management use their tools and experience to guide them. Call Arlington Capital Management today at 855-471-5796 for a financial review. The number again is 855-471-5796 or learn more at arlington-capital.com.
It's 5:08. Let's get an update on the early morning ride to work. Perhaps your race to the other side of the lake is starting early this morning. Details on that in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good Friday morning, Michael. Right now, I'm happy to report that in northwest Indiana and even in southwest lower Michigan, things are pretty clear at this hour, despite lots of long-term road work that's in place, whether you're going via the Indiana Toll Road or 8094 up to 94. Even I-65 has work, but right now we're not seeing any delays, no incidents there. Or delays on northbound I-55 from 126 to past Weber Road. Road work in the 2 left lanes. This should be clearing shortly. Well, traffic's going to be getting heavier there anyways. The rush kicks into gear. Got a closure at Algonquin. Algonquin Road is blocked off between Randall and Hanson. There's a crash. Lots of festival-related closures throughout the city this morning, and even in Wheaton, Liberty is closed between Wheaton Avenue and Cross for Taste of Wheaton this weekend. Traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the easy-to-use AC Pro refrigerant with pressure gauge and quick connect hose is just $33.99. So keep your ride running longer, stronger, and cooler all summer long with AC Pro refrigerant. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Jim, thank you. Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, high 85. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 63. Tomorrow, clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 85. An evening shower or thunderstorm, low tomorrow night, 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
56 at O'Hare, 63 along the lakefront. Your next news update is at 5:30, and Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the IRS Radio Hour with attorney Stephen Leahy every Sunday afternoon at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
It's an extraordinary abdication of American leadership. It is a shameful moment for the United States.
That means record heat, more drought in some places, torrential rains and floods in other places, sea level rising, drowning coastal areas. The world will be a mess.
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Okay, goodbye.
Well, we had a good run.
Drop mic, go home.
The only thing now is just to wait for the plagues that Trump has unleashed and see which one of us dooms the planet.
312-642-5600.
What's the over-under, you
Who's
think, on the
moving?
Earth's survival? We'll take your best guesstimates.
Who's moving to Mars? 312-642-5600 is our turnkey.pro answer.
The only thing I hope in this post-apocalyptic era in which we now live, I just hope that Megyn Kelly Putin interview gets done.
Yeah, I know.
Before it's all over. And I hope Megyn Kelly has some kind of space capsule that launches her from the planet, and she's in orbit until she finds another inhabitable planet or something. As long as Megyn Kelly survives, then, come what may.
I watched her yesterday. First time she did a report on NBC Nightly News, and Savannah Guthrie threw it to her, and she seemed a little salty. You know what I mean? A little jealousy between the ladies there.
I don't know what you mean, and
you don't
care even less. Yeah. But your reactions, take them all morning to Trump's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro text line. At the top of the 6 o'clock hour, we'll talk to Patrick Moore. We've talked to him a number of times on the show before. He's a co-founder of Greenpeace and now an independent scientist. And he does believe in things like science, and he is a defender and a concerned Canadian, actually, with respect to the environment. But he doesn't buy the apocalyptic demagoguery of the left or those who treat environmentalism as their church.
Well, I have a crush on David Gergen from CNN. Are you
I know, it's the most bizarre thing, but I mean, I guess coming from someone who made out with Edward James, almost anything is possible.
Well,
kind of indiscriminate.
Well, he said last night it's one of the worst, most shameful acts in U.S. history.
Yeah.
Right up there with slavery, maybe those Japanese internment camps, bowing out of the Paris climate deal. Shameful.
It's proportional.
Embarrassing.
It's measured.
Yeah.
We heard from, just to give you a sense of what the reactions are from the left, here's Governor Moonbeam out there in California.
This is a crazy decision. It's against the facts. It's against science. It's against reality itself. We know we have to decarbonize our future. If we don't, it's a horror. People are going to die. Habitat will be destroyed. Seas will rise. Insects will spread in areas they've never been before. This is not a game. It's not politics to talk to your base. It's humanity and whether it makes it through the 21st century.
By the way, you know what's carbon-based? Because we need to deal with, the existence of carbon. Yeah, you know what's carbon-based?
Mm-hmm.
Us.
Oh,
We're carbon-based life forms. So, one way for, Governor Moonbeam out there in California to deal with that, just wipe out California.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if this is all about saving the planet, Bill de Blasio abandoning the Paris Accords will be horribly destructive to the Earth.
Tiny Dancer weighed in.
And horribly destructive for New York City.
Mm-hmm. Tiny Dancer, ditto of what de Blasio said. Exactly.
Imagine reading from the same playbook.
I know.
Bill Clinton.
Who's he with these
Hillary
days?
Clinton.
Yeah.
That's his wife. Adam Schiff, of course. He's already been communicating with the UFO, so Adam Schiff probably survives the apocalypse with Keith Richards.
I have the best one, though. Michael Oppenheimer from Princeton. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
This hyperbole?
Yeah.
Hunker down, folks.
That means record heat, more drought in some places, torrential rains and floods in other places, sea level rising, drowning coastal areas. The world will be a mess.
Yeah.
And then I went and hid under my blanket.
George Takei, you remember him from Star Trek?
Star Trek? Oh, this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trump
Am I
is
doing
having
okay?
the U.S. pull out of the Paris Climate Accord. Too bad someone didn't tell his father that he should have pulled out too.
Oh.
Do you see what he did there?
Macron, without his older wife by his side, took to the world stage and is speaking English now because he doesn't speak English fluently, but he wanted to get a message across to Trump.
We all share the same responsibility. Make our planet great again.
See what he did there, Dan?
Yeah. Let's see. You've got all the newspapers. Trump to Earth, drop dead. Let's see. Oh, Nancy Pelosi defies all common sense. It's reckless. Cal Penn. You know Cal Penn. He was part of the Obama administration. That's Kumar.
Oh, Kumar. Oh, yeah, Kumar. How's he doing these
It'll
days?
be great to see the economic progress in blue states and cities that continue to embrace science and the Paris deal. So, green energy, windmills and solar panels is going to be the future for the coast. Well, that's great. Chelsea Handler.
Oh, I'm sure her panties were in a bunch.
I'm guessing that Donald Trump doesn't see the irony in making his announcement to leave the Paris Agreement while standing in a garden. Mayor of Pittsburgh, since, Trump had this to say.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
We've talked to Bill Peduto before, as the mayor of Pittsburgh. He was the guy who was experimenting with the driverless Uber.
Yeah, that's right, driverless cars.
I can assure you that we will follow the guidelines of the Paris Agreement for our people, our economy, and our future. Yeah.
But President Trump mentioned more than just Pittsburgh, okay? He mentioned D-Town.
It is time to exit the Paris Accord. And time to pursue a new deal that protects the environment, our companies, our citizens, and our country. It is time to put Youngstown, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, along with many, many other locations within our great country, before Paris, France. It is time to make America great again.
So is he just playing to his base, or that's what they keep saying, the left, that he cares about coal more than the climate, and he's an evil man, and the U.S. no longer the global leader when it comes to climate change?
Bette Midler, think of all the time, effort, and money poured into this, and he bails, giving big oil a windfall.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Big oil would get a windfall if we stayed in the Paris climate deal.
It's funny, yeah. Big oil.
Big Oil's
Exxon
crying this
and
morning.
Conoco. I'm thinking of my dog, the Canuku. Conoco. Exxon and Conoco.
Did you just say Kovifi?
I miss my dog Hayek, who's an Arubian Canuku, and so I'm thinking of Canuku when I said Conoco.
We're going to sneak Hayek in today.
No, we can't. So, but point of order, Exxon and Conoco, both supporters,
right,
of the Paris
Same
Climate
with
Accord.
Elon Musk. All these business leaders who it would benefit them. It would line their own pockets with cash had we stayed in the Paris climate deal.
Tom Steyer, who made his money in fossil fuels, by the way, is now right behind George Soros in terms of the biggest funders of the left. He called it a traitorous act of war. So Tom Steyer has declared war on the President of the United States, I guess by extension, the United States of America. So how about that? Yeah, that's interesting, too, with the dichotomy here. So as you're looking at the fault lines, to use a fracking term, since we're talking
the frack
energy,
out of here.
So on the one side, you have the president with middle-income families, blue-collar workers, mostly non-rent seekers. On the other side, you have billionaire rent seekers like Elon Musk and all those in Silicon Valley and big oil and Fortune 100 CEOs. So I just in terms of the caricature the left promulgates about who's on which side and who's standing for the middle-income family, the working guy and gal. Well, on this, it seems pretty clear, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
It's the left with billionaire rent seekers and Fortune 100 CEOs. Take your calls after this.
It's like a hot, steaming cup of information to start your day. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Dan, today is National Donut Day, so all day long you can go into Dunkin' Donuts and get yourself
free donuts.
A free donut. Just one per person. Just take it. It's from...
How do you have one donut? It's like one Pringle. You can't have one donut.
You can have one donut. It's not a munchkin. And here's your coffee.
Thank you,
Carlos.
Carlos, the Dunkin' Donuts at Elston and
Addison.
Which is my favorite Dunkin' Donuts in the Western
It lasts until midnight tonight. National Donut Day. Plenty of sunshine today on National Donut Day. A high of 85 degrees. It's going to be spectacular out there. Saturday, we're going to have sun and clouds, a couple of showers, and a possible thunderstorm. Pardon?
Under the crawler.
A high of 85 degrees. Somebody woke up on the wrong side of the bed this morning.
Well, I was so looking forward to Donut Day. Now I'm a bit disappointed.
That one's good for you. It's got blueberries in it.
I know, that's why I don't like it.
Sunday, where it's going to be breezy, clouds and sunshine, a high of 86 degrees. So just a great warm weekend. Let's get into the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Boston Cream here at my side, and things are looking pretty good right now on the expressways and tollways. Been scanning the traffic cameras, looking for wildfires and those torrential downpours and raging rivers. But right now, it's kind of a normal Friday morning. A little bit of a delay on inbound I-57 as usual, 103rd to the merge. 18 minutes, I-80 to the Rhine. Bishop Ford 17, and that delay also starts at 103rd. The other expressways and tollways are looking good. There were some roadwork delays on northbound I-55 near Weber Road, but that roadwork has lifted. Traffic's moving pretty well there now. There are a number of festival-related closures throughout the city and suburbs, including in Lincoln Square. You got Mayfest this weekend, Lincoln and Leland, and Little Village 26th is blocked off, California to Sacramento for Taste of Little Village. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, GreatParkingLots.com. Check it out, GreatParkingLots.com.
Go to GreatParkingLots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. GreatParkingLots.com.
Oh, the Bolingbrook Golf Club, that's where we're having our annual golf outing this year, sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford. And guess what? There's more than just golf at Bolingbrook Golf Club. You can see the best fireworks celebration on the 4th of July. They'll have plenty of food and fun and fireworks. Go to BolingbrookGolfClub.com for all the details.
People been saying to your friend, get a different face, and posting on their feed, they're super ugly. The things they say to them online are cruel and they're not true. So tell your friend, I'll stand up for you.
someone being bullied online? You can be a witness and make a difference by letting the world know it isn't cool and by letting your friend know you care. Learn more at eyewitnessbullying.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
AM 560, The Answer. When you've got questions, he always has an answer. It's Sean Hannity this afternoon at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560, The Answer.
Forget Paris, at least after we let you weigh in. Taking your calls, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line, 646-368, turnkey.pro. Text line, and that agreement was about as bad as the Billy Crystal movie I just referenced, too, by the way. Grant in Rockford, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. Got to tell you, hats off to you for being so chipper every morning so early. Good work. But.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're emoting energy this morning after doing 7 hours of radio yesterday.
Yeah, it's chipper. That's me.
Just got to keep drinking that coffee and eating them donuts.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not the biggest Trump supporter, and he doesn't do everything I like. But I tell you what, Pittsburgh, not Paris. He keeps that up. He's on the road to re-election. That's something that people have been dying to hear. And just the fact to watch all the liberal heads explode every day is worth it just to vote for him, even if you don't agree with him 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Thank you. Have a good day, guys.
Thanks for the call, Grant.
He's not caving to world leaders. He's putting America first.
And if those liberal heads continue exploding, that will reduce their carbon footprints and thus make up for the fact that we've withdrawn from the Paris Accord, which, remember, again, according to MIT climate scientists, if every country lived up to their commitment per the Accord, which is never going to happen, by 2100, we would reduce the global temperature by 0.2 of 1 degree Celsius. It seems like not the best return on investment I've ever heard. Larry and Bartlett, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, I'm just wondering if I should turn around and go home and crawl under the blanket. I'm driving into the city. I'm looking to the east, and there's this giant ball of fire rising up over the lake. I'm just wondering, is this the apocalypse? Are we going to end here in the next 20 minutes or so?
It's quite possible, Larry. I don't know. Only Tom Steyer and Jerry Brown know exactly when the doomsday clock strikes midnight. But yeah, I mean, if I were you. Enjoy your last few days. Don't do it. Don't do it in office. Go play golf. Go, toss the ball around with the dog. Enjoy it on the way out, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess I don't have to vacuum the living room floor either. This morning.
Your chores are complete. You've done your last chore, Larry. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. It is. It's like the movie Melancholia, another terrible movie. But
Melancholia. Who starred in that?
Kiefer Sutherland.
Sounds awful.
Kind of apocalyptic. There's just this big looming ball over the planet, and then people are milling about just waiting for it to crash into the planet and end it all.
Thank God now I don't have to see it. Oh, did Keith Sutherland, did he live or die?
You'll have to see Melancholia.
Oh, please.
If I had to see it, you have to see it. Holly and Hudson.
I thought that Trump's speech yesterday was terrific. His speechwriter, A+. He laid out such a beautiful case. And I love the way, I don't love everything he does, but I love the way he says, we're supposed to send $1 billion to the Green Fund guy. Who is that? What does it do? It's not even,
exactly.
It just sounded, he just made it sound so political, so laughable. And I was driving through Pennsylvania, and we pulled in to get gas, and other cars were listening to the speech, and there was just an incredible lightness of being. And I said, he's just been reelected.
Yeah.
I think it was an excellent speech. He made great points, but the left is suffering from hysteria fatigue. Everybody's exhausted from being hysterical for 5 months, and it's just not getting any traction. And the fact that Tom Perez immediately is going to hit the road and really speak out against unions and speak out against these jobs, Trump 2020, it's a done deal.
All right, thanks for the call,
Yeah,
Holly.
well, speaking of 2020, that's when we can pull out of the agreement. Not until November of 2020.
That Green Fund line that Holly was referencing to. Remember, he talked about Green Fund. Nice name. It's fantastic.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer. Yeah, what are we doing, Dan?
Hey, our buddy Jim Comey set the date. We're going to get testimony from the former FBI director next week, Thursday. We'll discuss what we should anticipate at 5:38.
And then later, the moment that Dan Proft got out of his car and confronted an Uber driver, all in the name of love. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
59 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. We're tracking developments in the Philippines this morning, where relatives are rushing to funeral homes to see the remains of loved ones who may have died in a fire set by a gunman who robbed a Manila casino. So far, 36 bodies have been recovered from that smoky gambling room. The USS Nimitz is now reportedly heading for the Western Pacific. Navy officials would not say if the aircraft carrier will cruise the waters off North Korea amid escalating tensions on that peninsula. The U.S. is formally withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord.
So we're getting out, but we will start to negotiate, and we will see if we can make a deal that's fair. And if we can, that's great. And if we can't, that's fine.
Speaking in the Rose Garden yesterday, President Trump says he's open to making the accord more fair for the United States. But leaders from Italy, France, and Germany say the Paris Climate Agreement cannot be renegotiated.
I reaffirm clearly that the Paris Agreement remains irreversible and will be implemented, not just by France, but by all the other nations.
That is the opinion of French President Emmanuel Macron, who joined other leaders following Trump's announcement. Mayor of Pittsburgh also responding. Mayor Bill Peduto says Trump apparently missed some key facts about his city when he singled it out yesterday in his announcement.
Pittsburgh is basically the best example of a city that you could use to talk about what the Paris Agreement had the potential to do and will have the potential to do.
Peduto believes it's a stretch that Trump is supporting the people of Pittsburgh by pulling out of the Paris Agreement. 2 CEOs are leaving President Trump's Business Advisory Council because of that Paris decision, Disney CEO Bob Iger and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The Trump administration is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate the president's travel ban. A federal appeals court in Virginia recently upheld a ruling that blocked that ban. Going to church will help you live longer. It's a new study that finds middle-aged adults who attend church or a synagogue or other places of worship reduce their mortality risk by 55%. Investigators are looking for answers after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood on the far south side. 28-year-old Robert Spoon died in that blaze yesterday. Investigators in Des Plaines are not offering any specifics about a death investigation ongoing there. Neighbors say paramedics rushed one man out of a home on a gurney. Police had another in handcuffs. Tribune says the man who died lived in that home, but police are not offering any details yet. An exhibition of 2 of Chicago's great creations will officially open later today at the Illinois State Museum. The exhibition is called Kings and Queens, Pinball, Imagists, and Chicago. Now, you may not know this, but factories on Chicago's north side created most of the world's great pinball machines, many produced by Elmhurst's Gottlieb family. Chicago artists, now known as Imagists, noted pinball machines' colors and flat forms and decided their artwork would sell great on pinball machines. Imagists say they were inspired by the city's many colorful storefronts, and they slapped those on pinball machines, creating a new form of art. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game set with the rival Cardinals this afternoon. White Sox bump up against the Tigers tonight in Detroit. The news service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today. Just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For the tires, oil service, and repairs, National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher believes the Trump administration needs to fix the leak.
Let's take a moment to talk about these leaks, because there's somebody or bodies within the Trump administration who want to do him in. There's no question about this. It's felonious to leak a lot of the information that has been leaked to the media over the first few months of the Trump presidency.
The Mike Gallagher Show. Weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
It's GNC's lowest prices of the season sale now through June 7th on diet and test support, fish oil, and more. Change begins at GNC. Select products only. Season is March 30th to May 31st.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-5602. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-5602. That's 1-800-400-5602. 1-800-400-5602.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-3471. That's 1-800-500-3471. 1-800-500-3471.
5:37. Let's check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike and Algonquin. We have Algonquin Road still closed off between Hanson and Randall Road due to a crash. The Edens is fine. The Kennedy looks good at this hour. No delays to report on 190. We have on the inbound Eisenhower a little bit of heavy traffic near 17th Avenue, but no more than a brief tap of the brakes for now. Inbound Stevenson, it's slow. Lamont Road to Cass, Harlem to Kedzie, and State to Lakeshore Drive. 40 minutes, 3:55 to the drive. Outbound clear. Inbound Ryan, heavy in the express lanes, 43rd to just past 35th. The crash in the left lane we see on the jam cam. Delay free outbound. I-57, 22 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Bishop 426. Traffic is a service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99 plus $3 disposal fee. For tires, oil, service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Sunny today, high 85. Patchy clouds and 63 overnight. Currently, we have 56 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Secure Retirement Radio with host Raj Shah. Sunday mornings at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. We're playing Amy's favorite song since the end is near. So you want to go out remembering the great artists of our lifetimes, like Fleetwood Mac.
Stevie Nicks.
Yeah, sure.
She's the brains behind that operation.
I think Mick Fleetwood had something to do with it, and Lindsey Buckingham had something to do with it. I think so. I think that's, yeah. Okay.
How you doing over there?
Hey.
Hey, I haven't seen you in 4 hours. How are you?
Former FBI Director Jim Comey. Oh, but before we get to Comey, why don't we
Yeah.
Take our friend John in Evergreen Park. John, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy.
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. The thing, though, with what they say is the science, is that this science report that came out was 90% the scientists say this. That was false news written by a non-science person in Australia who examined the reports of scientists. But when the scientists were contacted, they never said that the global warming was man-made. A lot of the things that they're not considering is ocean currents. El Nino, La Nina can do more to the weather. Trade winds, a slight tilting of the axis can do this. Solar flares from the sun have much more to do with the weather on the Earth than anything that's man-made. The other thing is that carbon is also food for plants.
Yes.
That's where the leaves grow and give off oxygen.
I remember my I don't know, probably grade school discussion of photosynthesis. Yeah, I remember that. That seems to be lost.
The other thing, too, is with when these great scientists, they have computer models, and they couldn't predict Matthew, the last hurricane.
Right.
That came off, and they had 6 different projections, and they couldn't even predict within 2 days what was going to happen, and yet they used computer models to predict what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now.
Well, and as Patrick Moore points out, who we'll speak with at the top of the 6 o'clock hour, even the modeling they've done specific to this issue has been consistently wrong. I mean, the hockey stick that Mark Stein has gotten into the fight with Mann about, and litigation on the topic as well. All the modeling has been substantially wrong, even just, and frankly, as we've talked about before, right, the 70s were going to be the new ice age. There's Newsweek covers to that effect. Paul Ehrlich's population bomb. We were going to mass starvation because of too many people on the planet and the food production not keeping up. All that turned out to be wrong. All these neo-Malthusian apocalyptic predictions from the left, who use them as a predicate for control of other human beings, have turned out to be incorrect, wildly so in some cases. And, it's good to point out these facts. And by the way, in addition to the point you were referencing, I referenced this when we filled in for Medved yesterday. And people should look this up and share it. I'll tweet it. But there's an op-ed from Joe Bass of the Heartland Institute and Roy Spencer in the Wall Street Journal from about 3 years ago about the whole, the debate is over. The scientific community has reached consensus. 97% of all scientists believe that all of the dire predictions of governors like Jerry Brown, that's silliness. It's based on a 2-question survey that was produced by a master's thesis by a University of Illinois student with her advisor that simply asked, do you believe climate change is occurring? Do you believe that man has something to do with it? And so a selected group of scientists that didn't include scientists from a lot of disciplines that would have some expertise in climatology on top of it said, yes, the temperature is changing and man has something to do with it. But it made no determination about any policy course of action, much less the draconian courses of policy actions promoted by the big government left. So the talking point they use, and you will hear them use, I'm sure, incessantly in the wake of Trump's speech and his decision yesterday, that's as specious as those computer models that you were talking about. Thanks so much for the call, John. Appreciate it. Tom in Deer Park.
Oh, good morning, Dan and Amy. When Trump gets one right, I feel like I owe you guys a phone call.
Yes.
Not only did he get this right, but Dan, my question to you is, will he go the next step and legalize cigar smoking in the office once again?
Well, I'll tell you what. If he does, then I'm going to be his Illinois state director in 2020 when he runs for re-election.
I think he should legalize pets accompanying you to work.
Bring
your pets to work. Because everyone's in a better mood. Mandate. No, it should be mandate.
He can slip that into the Ivanka daycare legislation.
Right. And by the way, pets can go with you to work.
Thanks for the call, Tom, and for calling us to man up and say Trump did something right. Thanks for the call, Tom. Appreciate it. Comey testifying on Thursday before the Senate Intel Committee. And then after he addresses the committee's questions in open session, he will meet behind closed doors, according to the chairman of Senate Intel Committee, the Republican senator from North Carolina, Richard Burr.
I just can't wait. It's must-see TV because I want to know if CNN is right. They've been saying all along, the past 3 days, that during this session, he is going to confess that Donald Trump asked him during a December 14th meeting to kill the investigation against General Flynn.
Yeah, we'll see. Here's the thing. Even if Comey recants and recants his previous testimony, recasts his conversations with Donald Trump as Trump explicitly asking him to walk away from the Flynn investigation. Did Comey? Did he walk away from the investigation? No.
No.
So how did President Trump obstruct justice? In that hypothetical scenario, where President Trump said to Comey, you shall stop the Flynn investigation, and Comey continued the Flynn investigation. Is that attempted obstruction of justice? Here's the thing. Andy McCarthy's got a great piece on this in National Review, as he usually does on these topics. And remember, he's a friend of Comey's, colleague of Comey's. He's a former federal prosecutor himself. Pressure is not obstruction. Just like collusion is not a crime, pressure is not obstruction. And because the left is so good at redefining words and imbuing into them meaning they don't have, we forget this. And this goes back to you have to kind of take the step back and ask the questions. What is the crime that is alleged, and what is the evidence to support the allegation? So
it's not illegal. Hypothetically, if he did even say, hey, just back off on General Flynn.
He didn't. So how did he obstruct justice?
But they're claiming that he did. The New York Times and...
They're claiming who did what?
They're claiming that President Trump told Comey during the December 14th meeting to back off or to stop the investigation against General Flynn.
But he didn't. Comey did not stop the investigation.
No, he did not stop the investigation.
And so what do we have here? Right.
Was that intimidating a witness?
Well, he's not a witness. He's an employee. But
well, intimidation. I mean, Leon Panetta said this is obstruction of justice.
Well,
he kept the investigation going. You're right.
So that's sort of evidence that would undermine the contention that President Trump obstructed justice or even attempted to.
But if he changed his story, wouldn't that be perjuring yourself?
Well...
Or is that selective amnesia? I mean, how do you describe?
Upon further reflection, I now consider it this. I misspoke, that sort of thing. I mean, so you have a couple of problems, right? That's one of the problems. And the other problem that would tend to undermine Comey's credibility is the fact that that would be recasting what he has previously told congressional committees. And it would also be at odds with what the acting director of the FBI, his former deputy, has told congressional committees. I mean, think about this in the context of a trial, right? So everybody wants, not everybody, but a lot of people want to do this. Well, I trust Comey more than Trump.
We played that game on Michael Medved's show yesterday.
That's not the standard. Separate Trump out for a second. The question is, do you trust Comey? Because if you don't trust the witness, it doesn't matter if you think the accused is guilty. You need evidence to convict in this free society in which we live. This is not a new concept. So if you don't trust the witness on the stand, then his testimony is without value for the purposes of the proceeding. And that's where I am on Comey, because particularly if he recasts yet another story on yet another opportunity to preen before the cameras and pretend that he is the one honest man that Diogenes was looking for. I just don't buy it. And I think this is going to be much anticipated and much hyped and purposely obfuscated by the press, using these terms pressure and obstruction interchangeably. They're not interchangeable. And people should remember that.
If you're talking about it, Dan and Amy are talking about it. It's Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
They are here, circling over your head, and they're tracking you down. You feel overwhelmed, like you can't escape. You need a solution to get your back taxes filed, to put your life back on track. You need someone who can keep the vultures at bay and work directly with the IRS to leverage every opportunity to settle your tax debt. Mary Karpowitz, CEO of Comprehensive Tax Solutions, is licensed to represent you before the IRS. Don't let the IRS threaten you. You should never need to speak to them directly. Mary does that for you. Comprehensive Tax Solutions will help you settle your entire IRS tax debt for up to 85% off the original amount owed, including penalties and interest if you qualify. Comprehensive Tax Solutions, family owned in Chicagoland, can be a lifesaver for you. Call 708-478-6770, 708-478-6770, or go to resolveyourtaxproblems.com. Call 708-478-6770 now.
Hey, ladies, listen up. Another one is off the market. Another Chicago Cub, that is. Anthony Rizzo announced his engagement last night. Emily Vakos is the lucky lady. Posted it on his Twitter, saying, the luckiest guy in the world. She said yes. Future Mr. and Mrs. Rizzo.
I'm so envious of Emily.
Hey, if you haven't bought a MyPillow yet, why not? Maybe you've seen them in a store, but the radio deal using my name, Amy, as the promo code is a much better deal. It's the best deal available. In June, you'll receive the 50% discount on a MyPillow 4-pack. That's 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere MyPillows, all for 50% off. Have you checked her out yet, Dan? Are you looking her up? Emily Vakos. You can move the fill to give you the
Doing
exact...
some more research on climate models.
You could move the fill. That's what Dan does for fun. To give you the exact support you need regardless of sleep position. You'll get into deep sleep and won't wake up with a stiff neck or headache. And our good friend Mike Lindell makes them in America using only American labor. Wash and dry them. They're hypoallergenic, and you'll get the 10-year warranty and 60-day money-back guarantee. In June, get the 50% off the 4-pack by calling this number, 800-489-0201. Use the promo code Amy or visit mypillow.com. Promo code Amy.
Hi, this is Jeff from Basement Flood Protector. We have the pleasure of protecting over 25,000 of your homes with our innovative and proven line of protection solutions. Our customers enjoy peace of mind knowing their homes are safe regardless of weather conditions. They enjoy peace of mind knowing our solutions provide the early warning mechanisms required to fend off problems in advance. And they enjoy peace of mind knowing when called upon, our solutions will come to the forefront and operate as expected. Have you ever received an email or phone call from your sump pump warning you of an error or potential problem? Our customers have. Like us, our customers believe technology does not have to end at the top of the basement stairs, and they rely on our technology to protect their personal belongings that they care so deeply about. We are Basement Flood Protector. Protecting homes from flooding is all we do. I invite you to call today at 800-238-0822 or visit don'tflood.com to learn more and for no-nonsense pricing. That's 800-238-0822 or don'tflood.com. Use the call letters of this station for a 5% discount.
Americans have the right and advantage of being armed, unlike the citizens of other countries whose governments are afraid to trust the people with arms. James Madison, Federalist Papers. Our founders recognized that the common individual needs to be trusted, but with trust, there must be common sense and personal responsibility. This is especially true of handguns. If you've been thinking of making a purchase, visit the Range at 355. The Range at 355 is so much more than a state-of-the-art shooting range. It is a fully stocked showroom carrying a variety of firearms with brands like Smith & Wesson, Sig Sauer, HKs, and Glock. The Range at 355 offers Illinois concealed carry license training and a full curriculum of classes designed to teach you what you need to know to be a responsible gun owner and concealed carrier. Their professional team will train you like a pro. Founded by patriots like you, providing professional guidance and courteous instruction. Trust your skills to the pros at the Range at 355. For range hours and class info, visit range355.com. Range355.com.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
Anarchists taking to the streets. Hollywood more vocal than ever. Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and Chuck Schumer making baseless accusations on a daily basis.
And again, the facts are what are important.
And the press has lost all objectivity, responsibility, and quite possibly their minds. One thing is for certain. We must be doing something right. Keep calm and listen. AM 560, The Answer.
.557. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Clearly wearing sunglasses this morning. Here's Jim Talamonte.
That's right. There is light from the sun this morning, Mike, and it's looking pretty good on most of the expressways. The Edens is still clear. Kennedy has a brief slowdown. The River Road toll to Canfield, so keep those sunglasses handy. Inbound Eisenhower slow from Wolf to First Avenue and Ashland into the Burn Circle. 43 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30. Getting heavy on the Stevenson with delays starting at Lamont Road. 52 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 5 to 34. Ryan is 23 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57. 22 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop 423. Got a crash outbound at 115th, blocking both shoulders. On the tri-state, it's a little heavy at the Eisenhower. Northwest Indiana looks great, and traffic is a service of Napa Auto Parts. This month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores, the easy-to-use AC Pro refrigerant, pressure gauge, and quick connect hose is just $33.99. So keep your ride running longer, stronger, and cooler all summer long with AC Pro refrigerant. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues after a full update from Fox News and your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day, high 85. Patchy clouds through the night, low 63. Clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm throughout the day and into the evening tomorrow, high 85. Later at night, turning out to be partly cloudy with a low tomorrow night of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
55 at O'Hare, 64 along Chicago's lakefront. The news, the service of NTB. Get your 5-quart conventional oil change today, just $19.99, plus $3 disposal fee for tires, oil service, and repairs. National Tire and Battery, that's all you need. 5:59 in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Investigators are looking for answers after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood. Chicago police say 2 are dead, 5 others recovering after shootings on the city's west and south sides. Illinois' credit rating getting even worse after Illinois Democrats, who hold the majority in the General Assembly, punted on a state budget. Former University of Illinois football player who says he was forced to play while hurt now says he hopes to be an inspiration to others. Cubs return home to open up a set with the rival Cardinals this afternoon. White Sox begin a 3-game series with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. 55 degrees at O'Hare, 64 along the lakefront. More Dan and Amy after Fox News. WIND Chicago News Time, 6 o'clock.
There is some cheering in coal country. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Anything that can be lifted that can help put our people back to work, we view as a good thing.
Bo Copley is a former coal miner in West Virginia. The head of the Kentucky Coal Association says this is a promise kept by President Trump.
The bottom line is that the Paris Accord is very unfair.
A climate change deal, he says, hurts the U.S. economy.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
Though Pittsburgh's mayor says he supports the Paris deal, among mayors, governors, and business leaders who say they'll still try to comply with the agreement. Those are among the protests in the U.S. against the president's decision to pull out of the agreement. People in New York calling for climate justice. Much of the rest of the world is against us on this. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Dave, in Paris, French President Emmanuel Macron saying the U.S. is turning its back on the world. He even adopted President Trump's catchphrase.
Whoever we are, we all share the same responsibility. Make our planet great again.
India, China and Russia saying they remain committed to the Paris Accord. German Chancellor Angela Merkel calling the president's decision, quote, utterly regrettable. And she said, that is me choosing very restrained language. Dave?
Simon, the Supreme Court's the next stop for President Trump's blocked executive order on travel. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the Trump administration filed 2 emergency applications with the Supreme Court in an effort to overturn 2 lower court rulings blocking the president's revised travel ban. The Justice Department argues the executive order is legal and that the president is not required to admit people from countries that sponsor or shelter terrorism. Rights groups fighting the ban say it targets Muslims and is unconstitutional. The High Court back up to full speed with the addition of Justice Neil Gorsuch. Dave?
This is Fox News, fair and balanced.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
The key to success? Keep it simple, especially when it comes to hiring. And nobody makes it easier than Indeed.com. Post a job in minutes. Set up screener questions. Manage your candidates from one dashboard. According to an independent study, 5 times more hires are made through Indeed than any other job site. New users claim your $50 credit to post a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Imagine purchasing America's best-selling pistol, the Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm, for only $350 plus a $75 manufacturer rebate. Plus, mention you heard it from me, Amy Jacobson, when you buy your Shield and get a box of Federal Range ammo for only $5.60. At Schrank's, of course. Schrank's has Lake County's largest selection of new, used, and consignment pistols, rifles, shotguns, and ammo, plus full gunsmith services. In June, it's also a buy 3, get 1 free on select ammo. And don't forget to purchase your favorite cigars at Schrank's. Avoid the Cook County taxes and take advantage of the June deal on a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm for only $350 plus a $75 manufacturer rebate. Schrank's, the firearms store generations of customers trust. Visit SmokeTheN.org or call 847-662-4034. Schrank's Smoke & Gun in Waukegan, your family-owned gun store since 1964.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest-growing independently owned business bank. It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Bob Aument, a founding partner of the law firm of Dassman & Aument and longtime personal customer of Signature Bank. Our firm recently left one of the larger banks to bank with Signature Bank, and it's been a refreshing change. With Signature Bank, we've been able to tailor banking solutions that fit the specific needs of our firm. Beyond that, Signature Bank is responsive, efficient, and timely in meeting those needs. If I have a request, I pick up the phone and talk to Mick O'Rourke, not someone at a phone bank thousands of miles away. Daspin and Ament needed more than what the larger banks offer, and we found that with Signature Bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Financial Planning with Jack Taboda, your 401k specialist, whose goal is to protect, preserve, and grow your wealth. Saturday mornings at 7.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
It's an extraordinary abdication of American leadership. It is a shameful moment for the United States.
That means record heat, more drought in some places, torrential rains and floods in other places, sea level rising, drowning coastal areas. The world will be a mess.
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together. Mass hysteria.
Good morning, or is it? Dan and Amy, 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636-DA, turnkey.pro. Text line getting your reactions to the president's decision to withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord, drawing international opprobrium from heads of state and corporate elitists and billionaire funders of the left and Hollywood
and former Secretary of States.
It's an extraordinary abdication of American leadership. It is a shameful moment for the United States.
Yeah, shame. We should be shamed.
So here's what President Trump said. Let's just set the table and go through his speech a little bit. Here's the announcement.
Therefore, in order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
But there was a caveat. He's open to doing a deal, as he always is.
So we're getting out, but we will start to negotiate, and we will see if we can make a deal that's fair. And if we can, that's great. And if we can't, that's fine.
And he was putting
America. If we can't, that's fine.
That's fine, because we'll just, he's not, nothing's going to ruffle his feathers. He's putting our best interests at heart, thinking about American towns before Paris.
It is time to exit the Paris Accord. And time to pursue a new deal that protects the environment, our companies, our citizens, and our country. It is time to put Youngstown, Ohio, Detroit, Michigan, and Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, along with many, many other locations within our great country, before Paris, France. It is time to make America great again.
The real issue, though, and this is consistent with Trump's value proposition as a candidate and as president, it was not dissimilar to his commentary about the Pacific Rim Trade Agreement, the TPP. It's not contrary, or it's consistent with his problems with NAFTA. It is a fairness issue for Trump, and that's the America First piece of it that you just played. But this is one of the things that he understands about this agreement is it has very little to do with the climate, and it has everything to do with economics.
This agreement is less about the climate and more about other countries gaining a financial advantage over the United States.
It's worth noting that the 195 signatory nations who volunteered their own carbon emission reduction pledges, that China and the other developing nations account for 63% of annual CO2 emissions, and their share is rising. So, by the way, they're more than free to abide the pledges they made.
Right.
Just as
I mean, there's no Paris Climate Control police governing over every country to make sure that they follow the rules or the agreement that they signed.
There's nothing legally binding about it. In addition to that, you've seen, well, what about the U.S. leadership? Well, the U.S. has led by example. How about leading by example than leading rhetorically? We've reduced our carbon emissions by 14% over the last several years. Just the technological innovation, fracking. Oh, by the way, which the left decries. That's one of the reasons we've been able to reduce our carbon emissions more substantially than the developing nations. So, human ingenuity, innovation, technological advancements, making the operation of business and the markets more efficient.
Isn't there a point of contention, though, because we are using our tax dollars to provide to poorer nations, that we be paying a certain amount of money? Because he mentioned the green monster. What did he call it?
The green fund. I mean, the bottom line is this. This is his bottom line on this.
The agreement is a massive redistribution of United States wealth to other countries.
That's what it is. Redistribution of jobs. And he made the point that coal jobs aren't going away. This would just export them to Europe. Redistribution of wealth. I mean, look, anytime you have the rest of the world coming together and demanding America's participation, this faux construct called the international community, it's not because of shared interests. It's exactly what Trump said. It's because most of those countries are trying to stick up the United States and the Western world for resources. That's the real play.
It includes yet another scheme to redistribute wealth out of the United States through the so-called Green Climate Fund. Nice name.
Nice name.
So there's a Green Climate Fund. Okay, so everyone who signed the agreement has to pay into it, but obviously we were paying more than other countries because we have a larger carbon emission. That's what I gathered.
Let's go to Candace in DuPage. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning. That was the best speech. One of my favorite parts, Amy and Dan, was when he talked about the percentages. 24% from paper jobs lost. 82 to 86% from coal. I mean, there was like 5 different sectors that he named that would have been hit really hard. And then only having about 1% growth in the United States. You guys, that's what we had about the last year of Obama. Imagine that. For the rest of our lives, 1% growth, if even. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the good news, Candace, is that the rest of our lives is just ours now because we've withdrawn from the Paris Accord. So you don't have to worry about growth.
I would kiss his feet. I'm so happy about this agreement. Just that alone is the reason to vote for him. Okay, Sean from EP. Okay.
Thanks for the call, Candace.
I love Candace.
Early shout out. Marvin in Lake Geneva. You're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I got a question, and then I just want to ask you guys something else. But my question is, doesn't this advocate our energy production to some unelected body from someplace like Brussels to tell us how much coal we can produce, how much gas we can produce?
No, I mean, there's no legally binding.
Right. But aren't there guidelines or some type of targets that, America, you're producing too much coal, you got to stop that? There's none of that in there?
Well, I mean, shaming, guidelines, pledges. Yeah, okay, it's all politicians talk. So what? I mean, look, this is first of all, there's nothing new in this world. It's just the history we don't know. I mean, let's just go. We don't have to go that far back. This is the same thing that happened. It's just amplified and more hysterical as the left has gotten more hysterical, and the Democrats have become the party of bedwetters and adult children, virtue signaling adult children. The 97 Kyoto Protocol. When George W. Bush walked away from that after Bill Clinton had signed it, you get the same outrage. Mm-hmm. And by the way, it turns out after George W. Bush declined to implement Kyoto, the world didn't end.
It didn't?
Nope.
Well, we got to hit real quick. Michael Oppenheimer from Princeton. I mean, really, his head did come off of his body yesterday.
That means record heat, more drought in some places, torrential rains and floods in other places, sea level rising, drowning coastal areas. The world will be a mess.
Yeah, it's funny because going back to Kyoto, those were legally binding.
Oh.
And the European countries that pursued those saw their price of power soar substantially, and the destructive impact economically was felt with respect to job creation or the lack thereof, and of course lower household incomes because you're spending more for energy.
But don't you love how the world's reacting? I mean, France, Germany, Italy say there's no renegotiating. China, which is the biggest greenhouse gas emitter, says that calls us selfish and irresponsible.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Steyer, the billionaire funder of the left, who made all his money in fossil fuels, by the way. He's saying it's a traitorous act of war from Tom Steyer.
David Gergen, David Gergen, the hot-looking guy in CNN, said this is the most shameful act in U.S. history. I can think of slavery, Japanese internment camps, the list could go on. I don't think this is the most shameful act in U.S. history.
David Gergen's head reminds me of the egg in the eggs in Gulliver's Travels.
We used
where you are arguing about, which end of the egg to break. It's like, which end of David's head is the noise coming from?
Don't say that about my boyfriend.
It's just an egg on top of a head, on top of a neck. Joe in Oak Forest, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Did anybody put two and two together? Did the Democrat Party suddenly get all kind of donations from these countries that are going to benefit?
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, Joe. Mark in Union.
Hey, it's Mike. How's it going, guys?
Oh, Mike.
Hey, I got a stock and tip investment. I think everybody needs to invest in Crayolas and teddy bears again, so the left's going to melt down globally. Great speech.
Thanks for the call, Mark. Robert in Northbrook.
Yeah, we're not going to have time for a whole discussion. A couple of quick points. Just because Trump sounded cool and brazen does not make good policy. The fact of the matter is we have a considerable amount of our role, and Trump was supposed to make us great again, and apparently he's just alienated everybody. Another point, for better or for worse, he's alienated most of Europe. You've heard of the Marshall Plan.
Yeah.
That costs us a few dollars, too, and that seems to have established us as a world leader since World War II, at the end of World War II.
Yeah. Okay, so those are 2 points, and here's 2 responses. One is President Trump promised to do this as a candidate, so he telegraphed it, and then he did it. So the hysteria is not well-founded because it was previewed. Number 2, Robert, the Marshall Plan to rebuild Europe had a discernible return on investment. This, again, the MIT study, if all of the countries abided their targets, none of which are legally binding, and you know how responsible most of the countries that are signatories are, their politicians are just like our politicians, which is to say, not trustworthy. If it's particularly in authoritarian, totalitarian regimes where they don't have electoral accountability mechanisms, Robert. But let's just, as the MIT scientists did, stipulate that all 195 countries are going to abide their pledges. What does MIT conclude? By 2100, the Earth's temperature would be reduced by 0.2 degrees Celsius. And let's ignore the fact that most of the climate models over the last 30 years have been wrong. They have been unable to predict climate change because, remember, we changed from global warming to climate change because the models were wrong. So we had to change the vernacular to use that as the cover story. Haven't been able to predict a decade out, 2 decades out. But the best case scenario,
is 83 years from now, if all politicians the world over maintain their pledges, we'll reduce the global temperature by 0.2 degrees Celsius, and the economic destruction that will be created as Europe inflicted upon itself under Kyoto will be realized and be in the short term. So again, tell me about the bad economic policy this represents. Tell me about how you compare this to the Marshall Plan of rebuilding industry and infrastructure in Europe. Apples and oranges, my friend.
Listen to Dan and Amy on your smartphone. Download the AM560 mobile app today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
It's a gorgeous string of days here. It's going to be 85 today with mostly sunny skies. Saturday, we're going to have sunshine and then a quick shower or thunderstorm around 5 o'clock in the afternoon, a high of 85 degrees. And on Sunday, breezy with clouds and some sun. Another good one, a high of 86. Global warming has arrived. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Dan. The Edens has a little bit of a delay eastbound. First on the spur past Waukegan Road. You've got about a 2-minute delay there. And then another 2-minute delay, Peterson to the junction. So it's 21 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. Kennedy, 22 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 20. On Eisenhower. Delays start at Wolf Road. It's 46 minutes, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 32. The Stevens Inn is heavy. First 53 to 83, then First Avenue to Kedzie. Ashland most of the way to Lakeshore Drive. An hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to the drive, 52 minutes from the Tri-State. Bryan, 27 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 28 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 22. North on Tri-State slow from the Reagan to the way to the Eisenhower. Northwest Indiana still okay. I'm Jim Talamonte at the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A great smile can make you feel happy and confident. So when you consciously conserve your teeth, that glowing smile will show through. At Best Dental Group, Doctors Economos, Gavalis, Joshi, and their staff are ready to help you create that perfect look or maintain the one you have now. Along with general dentistry, Best Dental Group is a multidisciplined practice with an orthodontist, periodontist, and prosthetic specialists on site. They use the newest breakthroughs in dental technology, such as titanium implants, Invisalign clear braces, and laser treatments. Don't let fear get in the way. They can recommend sedation to make your experience as comfortable as possible. Best Dental Group is located in historic downtown Bartlett and is a multilingual office. Call 630-830-4930. That's 630-830-4930. Or visit bestdental.org. Best Dental Group, sharing your conservative values and helping you to conserve your teeth.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-500-3471. That's 1-800-500-3471. 1-800-500-3471.
AM 560, The Answer.
It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world.
We're doing that story, though, later, how you got out of your car and confronted an Uber driver.
It's fine.
Okay.
Take a few more calls on this. We're going to do a little Hillary update, but Joe in Hoffman Estates, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Yeah, the other point I wanted to make here is that the whole premise of the Paris Climate Accord is based on a really, I think, a false presumption, which is that they want to limit the increase of the temperature to about 2 degrees, and they attribute none of it to just a natural increase in temperature. They're saying it's all man-made increase, which is ridiculous. I mean, and they can't tell you
how much of a temperature increase, if there is one, would be attributed just to a natural increase like there has been over the history of the planet. And so if they can't tell you that, how can they justify this 2-degree increase and then predict these cataclysmic events based on 2 degrees when we all know, too, that people and nature adapt on changes in nature and climate as well? The whole thing is just silly, and how they can gravitate to it is just beyond me.
Thanks for the call, Joe. Appreciate it. Just switching to Hillary because we've got to close the loop on this story. Day 2 story. After she torched the DNC.
Went after them like
yeah,
crazy lady. Yeah.
She said, that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, was bankrupt.
Yeah, they weren't prepared. They didn't have emails ready for her and all that.
Yeah, it was, and that was the advantage that Trump had in the election. The RNC was better prepared, better data, better operation than the DNC. Well,
as Todd Christensen responded.
It's not surprising that Hillary would lie to deflect responsibility. I mean, that's what she does. But the DNC data director, former data director, not having it. Andrew Therault, former director of data science for the DNC, called Hillary's claims frackin' bulljive. But he didn't use frackin' or bulljive.
He used words that we can't say on the radio.
He also tweeted to DNC data folks.
Oh, he did?
DNC data folks, today's accusations are fracking bulljive, and I hope you understand the good you did despite that nonsense. Therault charged that his team did more work than being given credit for, will not allow them to be thrown under the bus by Clinton. Huh. Yeah, how about that? Oh, and by the way, in terms of a Russian conspiracy talk at that same CodeCon conference, where she threw the DNC under the bus.
And the New York Times and James Comey.
This is how much of a kind of laughable figure she is becoming, an object of derision. John King at CNN said in response to her excuses, "You don't understand, the Russians cloaked Wisconsin." And then Pulitzer Prize-winning commentator Peggy Noonan has a piece in the Wall Street Journal. Hillary lacks the remorse of conscience, saying that, it takes anyone to get over a loss like that. But Noonan writes, but wow. Her public statements since defeat have been malignant little masterpieces of victimhood claiming, blame shifting, and unhelpful accusation. They deserve censure. And goes on to just characterize what Hillary Clinton actually says, characterized accurately. She lost because America is a hopelessly reactionary country in which dark forces fight a constant rearguard action to turn back the clock. That's what she thinks. That's not true. She lost because she's box office poison. People don't like her, and people don't trust her, and everything that she has said since confirms for people why so many swallowed hard to vote for Trump, even though they had grave concerns about him as well.
Yeah, and speaking of Russian hacking, Megyn Kelly got the exclusive interview with Vladimir Putin. It's going to air on Sunday night at 7 o'clock our time for her new show. But he said, basically, they released a clip of it last night. He basically said that there may have been somebody from Russia that's hacking, but the government did not order any Russian hacking into your elections.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm willing to go where the evidence leads, but as I have suggested, based on what he said and done, Jim Comey has all but destroyed his credibility on this topic. I would say that I would not give Russian autocrat Vlad Putin the benefit of the doubt in terms of answers to questions like that. I didn't expect him to say, yeah, we hacked it.
We won.
Yeah,
we did it.
So I'm sure that interview will be very nice, much like Megyn Kelly's makeup interview with Donald Trump. I assume it will be saccharine and without purpose. So we'll look forward to that on Sunday.
It's what Chicago is talking about. It's Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy on AM 560. The Answer.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies. I had gout in both my knees, and it's gone.
Well, I'm pretty stupid. I should have ordered it 15 years ago. It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life.
He had eczema on his hand, and it cracked for years. He did anything from doctor, every cream, everything. And 3 months on the veggies and fruit, it was gone.
They're just awesome. They keep asking me, what am I doing? I told them what I did with my cholesterol. I had the blood test, right? And it went down 100 points. 262, now it's 162. Everything is just perfect.
Balance of Nature is celebrating its 20th anniversary by providing you the best offer they've ever given. 2 free months of fruits and veggies and free shipping. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Illinois downgraded to the worst. We're the worst state in the country, and it gets worse.
Oh, no. We have the worst credit rating of any state in the country in American history.
Oh. Yeah. Later on, we'll speak with Governor Rauner. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Sunshine this morning, 59 degrees. 6:30 is our time on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Relatives are rushing to funeral homes at this hour to see charred remains of loved ones who died in a fire set by a gunman who robbed a Manila casino. 36 bodies have been identified so far. The USS Nimitz is heading for the Western Pacific. Navy officials are not saying this morning if the aircraft carrier will be cruising the Sea of Japan, waters off North Korea, amid escalating tensions there. The U.S. is formally withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord.
So we're getting out, but we will start to negotiate, and we will see if we can make a deal that's fair. And if we can, that's great. And if we can't, that's fine.
Leaders from Italy, France, and Germany say the Paris Climate Agreement cannot be renegotiated, as President Trump suggested. 2 top CEOs are leaving the Trump Business Advisory Council as a result of that decision to leave the Paris Accord. Disney CEO Bob Iger and Tesla CEO Elon Musk. The Trump administration is asking the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate the president's travel ban. Federal appeals court in Virginia recently upheld a ruling that blocked that ban for now. Chicago police say 2 are dead, 5 others recovering after shootings on the city's west and south sides. Other Democrats in the race for Illinois governor say J.B. Pritzker needs to answer more questions fully about those tape-recorded phone calls between he and imprisoned former Governor Rod Blagojevich. An exhibition of 2 of Chicago's great creations officially opens at the Illinois State Museum today. The exhibition is called Kings and Queens, Pinball, Images, and Chicago. And yes, you've heard Dan and Amy talk about it this morning. Number of shops are giving out free donuts today to celebrate National Donut Day. But did you know that the Chicago Salvation Army established Donut Day in 1938 to honor women who served donuts to soldiers during World War I? Cubs take on the rival Cardinals this afternoon. Sox and Tigers tangle in Motown. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa Auto Parts stores. The rugged Bluetooth speaker with 20-hour battery life is just $29.99. That's right. Now you can have the freedom to play music wherever you please for just $29.99 while supplies last. 6:33 is our time. It's time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
It's GNC's lowest prices of the season sale now through June 7th on diet and test support, fish oil, and more. Change begins at GNC. Select products only. Season is March 30th to May 31st.
Acme Home Insurance.
Yes, I'd like to make a claim.
What are you wanting to claim, sir?
My air conditioner broke down.
Sorry, but your home insurance doesn't cover air conditioner breakdowns.
So what do you cover?
Home damage from things like earthquakes, volcanoes, a zombie apocalypse.
A zombie apocalypse? But that'll never happen.
But if it did, you'd be covered, sir.
But not my air conditioner?
I'm afraid not.
But his air conditioner could have been covered with a home warranty from American Home Shield, plus components of 20 other major home systems and appliances, like his electrical system, plumbing, refrigerator, and more. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-5602. Home insurance can cover what might happen.
Zombies are coming!
But a home warranty helps cover what will happen.
Now the dryer won't work.
Life happens. Have a plan. Get a home warranty from American Home Shield. For valuable free information, call 1-800-400-5602. That's 1-800-400-5602. 1-800-400-5602.
Growing up, your parents took care of your every need. Now you may be providing care for them. Are you worried about mom and dad living alone? Are they getting more forgetful or need help with daily activities? Why not consider a lifestyle that provides support services so they can enjoy as much independence as possible and maintain quality of life? Arborea of Long Grove is an all-new assisted living and memory care community, offering respectful assistance with activities of daily living and specialized memory care. The community features classically designed residential spaces, gracious hospitality services, amenities, and courteous, highly skilled staff to meet every need. Arborea of Long Grove is situated on 10 wooded and lushly landscaped acres off Route 53 in Long Grove. It's a vibrant yet peaceful environment filled with good neighbors, great social activities, and the finest in care. Schedule a tour today. Call 847-383-6737 or visit arboreaoflonggrove.com. That's arboreaoflonggrove.com.
6:36. Get ready for sticker shock. If you travel the Indiana toll road today or throughout the weekend, prices going up as our travel times are going up in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
That's right, Mike. If you travel the entire length of the toll road, it's going to cost you more than double what it did just a couple of days ago. If you're headed to Northwest Indiana, right now things look great going eastbound. We do have delays on westbound 8094 from I-65 to Burr due to road work. North suburban Mettawa, there's a structure fire, just to report it. Riverwoods Road, just south of Everett. Edens is 22 minutes late. Cook to Montrose outbound 20. The eastbound spur has delays starting just past Waukegan Road. Kennedy 28 minutes. O'Hare to downtown outbound 25. The Eisenhower 56 minutes. Thorndale to downtown outbound 38. The Stevenson an hour and 6 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive outbound 38 minutes. The Rhine is 27 minutes. 95th to downtown. Traffic is a service of Al Pamati Ford. Stop before you buy your new car. You must visit Al Pamati Ford now. Truckloads of new cars and trucks have just arrived, and everything is priced to sell quickly. Al Pamati Ford is at 25th and North Avenue in Melrose Park. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Sunny and 85 in your forecast for today. Patchy clouds and 63 overnight. Currently, we have sunshine and 59. Next news coming up at 7. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Bolingbrook Golf Club. For tee times and more, visit BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
No Victocrats allowed. Why? Because we've got a country to save. Join me, Larry Elder, tonight starting at 7 on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Very interesting Mona Charen piece in National Review. The kids are not all right.
Pardon?
Kids are not all right. More than 36% of teenage girls in America are depressed or have suffered a recent major depressive episode, according to a study published in Translational Psychiatry, which I know you're a subscriber.
Of course. Put the copy back on my desk, please.
For boys, the rate is a third of that, 13.6%. What are we doing to the kids, asked Charen.
Well, is it social media related? Because now people are getting bullied more because people can hide behind usernames that aren't really theirs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, bullied.
What? It's happening. It happens.
Yeah. I don't know what that word means anymore because it's used for everything. A disagreement is bullying. No. So that to me is kind of a catch-all phraseology that has been stripped of all meaning. Be specific. The results are ambiguous if you look at studies over the last half
bullied
century.
me.
I know, right? That's
You
bullying.
just bullied me.
That's bullying.
Be specific, Amy.
That's
Or you mean
that's bullying.
Am I bullying
Everything
you
is
back?
bullying.
No, there's a difference between threats and being bullied, and
If you're doing anything other than obsequious complimenting, then you're bullying somebody. That's all we're allowed to do. And obviously agree with whoever is shaking a stick with a piece of paper with some words scrawled on it. If you're not complying with their demands, then you're also bullying. They're not bullying, but you're bullying. The last half a century of studies come to an overriding takeaway. Children, adolescents, and young adults we're all seeing in those cohorts, we're all seeing dramatic increases in anxiety and depression, which were much lower during the Great Depression, World War II, and even the turbulent 70s coming out of Vietnam and the demise of a president. Maybe it's because we go to pieces over things like the withdrawal from a climate accord. Could that be it? Sharon, for her piece, talked to a New England college administrator and asked this person what he thought was the reason for the change. He said, the most outstanding thing that has changed is the enormous growth in the number of students with mental health issues. And the data backs up that contention. The Wall Street Journal reported, for example, Ohio State has seen a 43% jump in the past 5 years in students seeking mental health counseling. University of Central Florida, the requests for mental health treatment have increased 12% annually for the past decade. Young people not in college, even more prone to depression and anxiety, if less likely to seek help. 18 to 29-year-olds living below the poverty line, twice as likely as others to report depressive symptoms. Something is robbing young people of happiness and well-being. What could it be? I don't know that there's a singular answer, and I don't know that anybody knows the range of answers, but the data suggests that it's a real phenomenon, and it's something to be addressed. 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro. Answer line 64636DA, turnkey.pro. Text line, what have you done to your kids to make them so depressed and anxiety-ridden? I'll start with you, Amy. Would you like to confess the sins you've committed against Peyton and Eli?
there are none. They're not depressed. They're happy-go-lucky children. You know, they have good days and bad days like everyone else, and we always talk about our day. What was the best part of your day? What was the worst part of your day? Did you know what Peyton said the other day? Best part of his day was hearing that you got a puppy, because he thinks that's going to soften your heart and change you as a man. And I went, oh, wow, really, Peyton? Okay.
You can't soften something that doesn't exist, but there is surgical procedures to change me as a man.
No, a dog will do it, because a dog spelled backward, God.
Yes.
God.
A small G.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Small G. But yeah, no, I don't.
No.
I mean, we're concerned he has his MAP test next week, and if he doesn't do well in the reading and the math, then we're going to have to move out of the city. Selective enrollment, the tests begin next week, so we're going to have to say a reading prayer and a math prayer for Peyton, please, the night before.
Well, Mona Charon has a suspicion about what may be a contributing, if not the preponderant source of this depression and anxiety. She writes, the most consequential social change of the past several decades is not the dawn of social media, but the changing family structure. And it turns out that data suggests that adolescent depression and suicide are closely linked with divorce and single parenting. Teens who live with a single parent have twice the rate of suicide attempts as those who live with both parents. The same is true of other forms of distress and self-harm. To understand why kids are so anxious and depressed, we should look not just to their phones, social media convenient kind of catch-all excuse, as I said, but to their homes. Now, that's not to castigate anybody. We just have these qualifications because everybody gets so defensive. This is just looking at the data and what might be some of the source, that might be the source, or at least some of the explanation for what these studies suggest. You know, the results have been repeated, so it's worth addressing. She goes on to Sharon to write, if a couple has divorced or never married in the first place, all is not lost. One reason family instability is so hard on kids is that the financial, social, and work pressures the parents endure tend to make them less available for their kids. Single parents can try to compensate. Even if teenagers are living in a single-parent home, the quality of their relationships with their parents remain critically important to the risk of depression. Adolescents whose mothers were warm and supportive during disagreements rather than angry or argumentative show lower rates of sadness, anxiety, or lack of self-control.
You're doing something right.
Yeah, there you go. A study from Israel found children who were close to their parents suffered fewer psychological effects after being under rocket attack.
Wow.
I mean, talking about Israel.
Those are real problems.
Than children who did not receive such support. So it's as I said, it's no single answer. It's a complicated question, but that parental child bond turns out to be super important. And we're so obsessed about social media and so much less willing to talk about homes as compared to phones, as Sharon said. Megan in Evanston, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Morning, guys. Thanks for taking my call. In addition to the family structure, which I agree with Mona Sharon, the lack of religion and spirituality and focus on family unit, including religion, does take a toll on families. I see it in my work. I see it in my personal life. So I really do believe that. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for the call, Megan. I agree with that as well. Chris. Sorry. Chris in Waukegan.
Yeah, hey, I got an 8-year-old daughter who takes medicine for anxiety, and we have a cohesive family unit. I'm an active duty military person, and I eat dinner at home every night. We haven't had any problems like that, but I see that microwave ovens, social media, the instant gratification culture, the ability to instantly watch like a movie on television, I think contributes. We find some of the triggers with our daughter are things like I want to have dessert now, or I don't really want to go to school now. It's like if they don't get the instant gratification that they find in other aspects of their life, that seems to be a trigger for the anxiety, at least in my experience.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Thanks for the call, Chris.
I was going to tell you real quick, who's depressed? Is Katie Hall. She was last year's Eastern Connecticut champion in track and field for the 100 meter and the 200 meter.
Yeah.
She got beat out this year.
Okay.
By a person named Andrea Yearwood, who used to be Andrew Yearwood, a transgender student.
Yeah.
Kicked her butt by a lot, almost 1 second in the 100 meter and the 200 meter.
And he was running backwards, as I understand it, too.
Well, you saw his picture. I mean, he's a man. He's not. Yeah. He was born a man. And he was running in the girls' state championship track meet.
The muscularity of his thighs, is Bo Jackson-esque. But okay, if he says he's a girl, he's a girl. Okay.
And Andrea's mom came forward and said, "Well, that's he said he wants to be a girl, and we can't deny him.
No,
to run in this race.
No.
He hasn't he's transgender, not transsexual yet, so he hasn't had the operation yet."
Mm-hmm. Okay. Brave new world, folks. St. Charles, Chip, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Being happy takes work and takes effort. I guess I'm parroting the people who spoke before me, but it isn't an instant gratification thing. It takes time. It takes effort. You have to work on your character and other things and spirituality. And if they think that you're going to take some pill and be happy, it just isn't going to happen. You have to work on yourself.
Thanks for the call, Chip/Dr. Phil. Pete in New Lenox, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I was going to say maybe kids are depressed because they're never taught how to take care of themselves. They never learn that they can control their own environment. The parents say, "I'll take care of you." The government says it'll take care of you, and their teachers. And then you get to a point where you have to start making decisions, and you don't have any of the tools. You should be taught early in life on how to do that.
Yeah, okay. I mean, I buy that. I don't know. I don't have any research to back up that claim or data, but that stands to reason for me. I mean, the idea
Prof's parenting tips?
I think so. I like it. The relationship with your parents is important, but also it's just what people are saying, kind of the work that goes into genuine self-esteem, a genuine understanding of self-worth, because you're doing things, you're accomplishing tasks, you're building a life, rather than just having it handed to you or demanding that it be handed to you. I can understand that. I mean, maybe that's why the left is so vitriolic and unhinged. They're unhappy, really vile people, but they're so unhappy and angry about everything. I ask the question again, this bottomless reservoir they seem to have of hysteria as witnessed over the last 24 hours. Maybe some of them are in search of that sense of accomplishment, so there's a true inculcation of self-worth in their psyche.
This is getting really deep.
Isn't
it? I'm almost hypnotized by...
You know why?
Oh.
I mean, this is, why I'm going all Phil Donahue?
Why? What's going on?
Because my dog Hayek has softened my heart.
Exactly.
The stories you need to know to start your day. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
I'm Lou Dobbs. Private businesses added 253,000 new jobs last month. The construction industry facing a number of challenges. Those stories next. Are you being intimidated by the IRS? Rapid Resolution Tax Group is a team of tax attorneys, enrolled agents, and tax professionals who've helped thousands of people with problems just like yours. And they promise not to let the IRS intimidate you. If you are an individual or business who owes at least $10,000 to the IRS, you can turn to them for help. Has your bank account been levied? Do you have years of unfiled tax returns? Let Rapid Resolution Tax Group intervene for you. They're accredited with and A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and they guarantee same-day contact with the IRS. If you qualify, Rapid Resolution Tax Group can work towards settling your tax debt for less, removing penalties and fees, and stopping levies and garnishments. Call the professionals at Rapid Resolution Tax Group at 800-601-2929. That's 800-601-2929. The government employment report will likely dominate trading for much of the day, but a survey of private employers by payroll processor ADP says 253,000 jobs were added in May. The ADP numbers often are higher than those of the Labor Department, but economists say that both reports suggest steady jobs growth under President Trump. As the week ends, construction industry analysts are reviewing the Commerce Department's latest report that says overall construction fell in April by 1.4%. That included government construction projects as well as non-residential construction and home building. Among the other economic reports to which investors are paying considerable attention, the update on international trade, and with particular focus, of course, on the level of imports and exports. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Harvey owns a building and wants to save money by making his heating and cooling system more energy efficient.
Yes.
But Harvey's afraid of the cost and if he can get a return on his investment.
I am indeed.
Plus, he's nervous about disrupting the businesses that rent space in his building. Harvey doesn't know what to do with an HVAC system that's seen better days. The Air Comfort problem solvers to the rescue. Working as a team, the Air Comfort professionals find simple solutions that make a huge impact on building efficiency and operating costs with minimal or no disruptions to building operations. HVAC upgrades and retrofits from Air Comfort can save thousands of dollars per year. They save energy, reduce maintenance, and eliminate downtime. And buildings with better energy ratings command higher rents and selling prices and make tenants happy. Get real solutions from the Air Comfort team of problem solvers. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com and start saving money today. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
Hey, the Bolingbrook Golf Club, we're going to have our annual golf outing a week from Thursday. It's going to be spectacular, but you can do more than just golf at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. You can have fun there, and their 4th of July celebration is going to be off the charts. There's going to be plenty of food, fun, games, and of course, fireworks. So go to BolingbrookGolfClub.com for all the details. That's BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Want to feel like a total boss? Then switch to the best deal in America, Total Wireless. With Total Wireless, you get America's largest, most dependable network plus 5 gigs of high-speed data and unlimited talk and text for only $35 a month. Whoa, how did you get all that? Oh, that's right. You're totally a total boss, and you never sign a contract. Total Wireless, total confidence. Available at major retailers. Always refer to the latest terms and conditions of service at TotalWireless.com.
Napa know-how.
When you buy AC Pro refrigerant at Napa for $33.99, it comes with a pressure gauge, quick connect hose, and refrigerant to make just about any car cool again. Old cars, new cars, brown cars, even cars with hand crank windows. If it has 4 wheels and an air conditioner, AC Pro refrigerant for $33.99 can make your car cool. Literally. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 6/30/17.
Folks, how much is great service, low closing costs, and competitive interest rates worth to you? At Townstone Financial, it's priceless. Hi, Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
Well, Townstone is always personal, and Zach and Barry, they really strive to give me whatever I've needed. You've always been able to take care of me. There's a big difference between Townstone and just going to a bank. It's a remarkable difference. Barry and Zach take the job personally, and that comes over to a client, that you are personally trying your best and that you care if you do the best. That's the difference.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
What's the scariest thing about going to the dentist? Opening your mouth or opening your wallet? Because just a simple cleaning can cost $100, and things like root canals can cost you hundreds more. If you don't have dental insurance to help, you should give Physicians Mutual Insurance Company a call. 1-800-400-4811. This isn't a discount plan or preventive-only coverage. This is real dental insurance that helps pay for checkups right away, so you can call today and get your teeth cleaned tomorrow. Plus, it helps cover the more expensive procedures you might need down the road. Fillings, crowns, bridges, even costly dentures. There's no deductible and no annual maximum. Your acceptance is guaranteed for one of these insurance policies, even if you're retired or on Medicare. There are no networks, so you can choose any dentist you'd like. That's right, any dentist you want. Call and we'll rush you a free information kit with all the details. 1-800-400-4811. That's 1-800-400-4811. 1-800-400-4811.
AM 560.
Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues now. And make sure to stay tuned to catch me, Mike Gallagher, coming up at 9, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Oh, yeah, Mike Gallagher's coming up at 9.
Coming up next.
Hey, coming up right now, another twist in the story of Oak Park River Forest's very own Kathy Griffin.
Yeah, good.
Proud to announce that I represent Kathy Griffin holding a press conference tomorrow morning, meaning this morning. Lisa Bloom, that ghastly daughter of the
Gloria Allred.
Even more
She's not
ghastly.
ghastly. These are not ghastly women.
They're nasty women.
No, they're not nasty.
They wear pea hats.
No, they do not.
They do wear pea hats.
They do not wear pea hats.
They should wear pea hats.
Well, they don't want to wear pea hats because they're more class than that.
Oh, yeah.
Leave my attorney out of this.
When I hear the name Gloria Allred, I think class.
Well, she doesn't wear a pea hat.
Oh, you know why they're holding this press conference?
Well, are we going to tease it?
No, I'm telling you right now.
But I don't want to know now. All right, fine. What?
They're Miss Griffin and Mrs. Bloom will explain and respond to the bullying from the Trump family that Kathy Griffin has endured. Do you understand?
Oh, so she's the victim now?
Of course she is. She's the victim.
We'll get into that and take your calls at 7:07. And also, somebody has a flip-flop. Somebody's had a change of heart when it comes to Kathy Griffin. But first, let's go into the newsroom and say hello to Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan here are the stories we're watching at this hour. Chicago phone tax may increase to make sure that the city's pensions get bailed out. We'll explain why. Dave Stewart with the latest on that developing story. It's part of the ongoing budget negotiations. Governor Rauner promises a school funding veto. He'll explain why. An investigation is underway in a Chicago paramedic's death. Illinois' credit downgraded again thanks to Democrats being unable to compromise with the governor on a budget. Cubs open up a series with the Cardinals. White Sox will take on the Tigers this weekend. And a sunny Friday ahead. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Will the new justice he appointed help him? I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. President Trump's hoping the Supreme Court will unblock his controversial travel executive order. Fox's Rachel Sutherland live in Washington.
Dave, the president is asking the high court to allow his executive order restricting travel from 6 countries deemed terrorists to go into effect. Groups fighting the travel ban say it's unconstitutional and targets Muslims. The Justice Department argues President Trump acted within his lawful authority to keep the nation safe. The administration filed 2 emergency applications with the U.S. Supreme Court. With the recent addition of conservative Justice Neil Gorsuch, the high court is back up to full speed. Dave.
Rachel, there are a lot of pushback and protests after President Trump announced the U.S. will pull out of the Paris Climate Change Accord.
This may go down as the worst thing that he will do without exaggeration.
He was among those demonstrating in New York. French President Macron says
it is an actual mistake, both for the U.S. and for our planet.
The European Union and China will today reaffirm their commitment, but Vice President Pence says
this is an agreement that puts an enormous burden on American consumers, on the American economy.
And this coal miner in Kentucky says pulling out's good for his industry.
It makes them feel safer, that their jobs might be around for the future.
At least 36 people are dead in the Philippines after a gunman robbed a Manila casino and poured gas on gambling tables, then set them on fire. He fled but later killed himself. In Afghanistan, that protest in the capital has turned deadly. Several were killed, clashing with government forces as they demonstrated for better security days after a massive truck bombing in Kabul killed 90 people, injured hundreds. A 6th grade girl from Fresno, California has spelled her way to the top.
What it means. AROCAIN marathon. That is correct.
Congratulations. Ananya Vinay has won the Scripps National Spelling Bee on ESPN, getting $40,000 in cash and prizes. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Brilliant sunshine, 60 degrees. 7:02 on AM 560, The Answer. Good morning, everyone. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Investigators are looking for answers today after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood on the far south side. Firefighters say 28-year-old Robert Spoon died in that blaze yesterday. His friend apparently owned that home. He was staying there. Investigators say they're still looking for the cause of that fire. Illinois' credit rating getting worse. Both Moody's investors and Standard & Poor's downgrade Illinois credit. The move comes one day after Illinois Democrats, who hold the majority in the General Assembly, punted on a state budget. Governor Rauner says the downgrades are unacceptable. If the governor approves, Mayor Emanuel will be free to seek an increase in the city's tax on phone lines by 28%. AM 560's David Stewart explains it was part of a last-minute bill that passed in Springfield.
The bill allows the city to raise its monthly 911 tax from the current $3.90 per phone line to $5. The city is committed to upgrading its 911 dispatch center to receive text messages, photos, and videos, and the $27 million the tax hike would generate each year could be used for that. If it is, then money would be freed up for use elsewhere in the city, most likely to shore up the Laborers Union pension fund. Before any of that, though, Governor Rauner would have to approve the authorization, and the city council would have to sign off. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
Investigators in Des Plaines are not offering many specifics about their death investigation that is ongoing. Neighbors yesterday saying paramedics rushed a man out of a home on a gurney. Police had another man in handcuffs. The Tribune says the man who died lived in the home. Not many other details are forthcoming. Former University of Illinois football player who says he was forced to play while hurt now says he hopes to be an inspiration to others. Simon Sigyenovich yesterday telling reporters he hopes to make other college athletes speak out about treatment on the football field and off. Sigyenovich blamed former Illini coach Tim Beckman for making his knee and shoulder injuries worse, and the university this month agreed to a $250,000 settlement with Sigyenovich. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game set with the rival Cardinals. White Sox begin a 3-game set with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. College baseball, UIC, the Flames, clash with Southern Miss in the opening round game in the Hattiesburg Regional this afternoon in the College Baseball World Series. They're the only Illinois Division I school in the tournament. The news service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa stores. Valvoline full synthetic motor oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now. Protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 7:05, a check of traffic and weather is on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity has seen this coming from day one.
The summer of Comey is coming. Look, we were the first ones to say. I think we said it the day Comey was fired or the day after he was fired. What did I say? I said, all right, here comes the book deal. Here comes the movie deal. Here comes the Comey book. Here comes the MSNBC contributorship. And of course he's going to fight back. Of course he's going to be angry.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
ADT presents What to Consider When Considering Home Security. An ADT sign is more than a sign. It's a line in the sand. On one side, your family. On the other, an uncertain world.
For over 140 years, more people have chosen ADT to help prevent crime than anyone else. Get ADT starting at just $28.99 a month.
Tested, trusted, proven ADT.
With 36-month contract for licensing and terms and conditions, visit ADT.com.
When smart businesses need to grow their team, they do it on the site proven to deliver, Indeed.com. According to an independent study, Indeed delivers 5 times more hires than any other job site, more hires than the rest combined. And right now we're giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job, boosting your listing and relevant search results. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
7:06. Let's get an update on the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. In northwest Indiana, we're now seeing roadwork delays on 80-94 in both directions. Eastbound, it's slow from Central Avenue to Ripley. Westbound from I-65 to Burr. The Indiana Toll Road has no delays right now, but the tolls have increased substantially with the start of the month of June. Inbound Edens past Dundee, there's a crash on the right shoulder. Then it's 22 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 26. The Kennedy runs 38 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. Outbound 30, the Eisenhower, an hour and 7 minutes, Thorndale to the post office. 50 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 41 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 6 minutes, 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive. 56 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound, got a 4-minute delay, California to Central. Ryan, 29 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State, slow 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. The Reagan Tollway has delays, 22nd to the Eisenhower. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, mostly sunny, high 85. Tonight, patchy clouds, low 63. Tomorrow, clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm, high 85. An evening shower or thunderstorm, low tomorrow night, 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
59 at O'Hare, 61 along Chicago's lakefront. Lake Michigan water temp, 54 at Wilmette, 60 along the Michigan beaches. Your next news update is at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Illinois Rising, hosted by Dan Proft and the Illinois Policy Institute. Sunday afternoons at 3 on AM 560, The Answer.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord. I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
It's an extraordinary abdication of American leadership. It is a shameful moment for the United States.
That means record heat, more drought in some places, torrential rains and floods in other places, sea level rising, drowning coastal areas. The world will be a mess.
What he means is Old Testament, Mr. Mayor. Real wrath of God type stuff. Fire and brimstone coming down from the skies. Rivers and seas boiling.
40 years of darkness, earthquakes, volcanoes.
The dead rising from the grave.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
Good morning. The
Or
first
is
day
it?
of the rest of your life, however long that lasts. Dan and Amy, per noted scientists and who dabble in economics, Leo DiCaprio, Bette Midler, Michael Moore, I'm getting my affairs in order. I don't know about you, Amy.
Have you planned to move to Mars?
Not to mention, I'm ready to just shuffle off.
Yeah.
So come what may, if I have to swim with the fishes down Michigan Avenue or whatever it is, come what may. It's interesting to note who's on what side. I mean, of course, all the smart people with pure motivations are on the side of the Paris Accord. So, for example, Fortune 100 companies like Facebook, Google, Microsoft, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips, Apple, Levi Strauss, Hewlett-Packard, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts, Morgan Stanley. I need to pull my money out of there. Unilever, Tiffany. Not getting any more jewelry from there. Ingersoll Rand, Intel, Johnson Controls. They're all on the side of staying in the Paris Accord.
Probably because it could line their own pockets. There's something financially in it for them.
Yeah, I think it is worth noting who's on which side, because it just gives you a sense of whose interests are being served, right, by the decision that's made or not made. And it also serves to undermine the caricature, the cartoonish caricature that the D.C. Press Corps and their partner in collusion, the modern left, seek to propagate about Republicans. They're beholden to corporate interests, big business, big oil, big everything. Well, on this one, Trump told the employer of his Secretary of State to go drill oil somewhere else because he is on the side of middle-income families who shouldn't be subsidizing $90,000 luxury cars for the rich and shouldn't have economic opportunities limited without a serious rationale. So he's on the side of the blue-collar workers, middle-income families, and the international community, and the left in America is on the side of Fortune 100 CEOs and billionaire rent seekers. Which side are you on? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro answer line. 64636-DA, turnkey.pro text line.
It just proves my point. When I was a kid, and when you were a kid, Dan, Republicans were rich and the Democrats were the working class, the union workers. They're still union workers, but there's a lot of more wealthier Democrats than I grew up with. They control all. They have all the power and they're elite, and that's fine. Stay-at-home moms who don't have to work because their husbands take care of them, and that's fine. You signed up for that. That's great. God bless you.
Well, you see the modern Democrat Party, the composition of it in full blossom. When you turn on the television, you have champagne socialists who are insulated from terrible public policy, like in your neighborhood, up on the North Shore, in certain professional circles.
On the coasts.
Academia,
East Coast and West Coast.
high finance, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the beneficiaries of transfer payments who have become wards of the state, and not a lot in between. That's kind of what Illinois looks like, which is why Illinois has been lorded over by feudalists like Madigan and Cullerton and Daly and Tiny Dancer for the last 100 years. So it's just very interesting to understand the kind of the composition of each side, not just on this issue, but this issue as a proxy for perspective, for worldview. I think it really is instructive. I mean, so when you hear Governor Moonbeam say this, do you say, hey, there's a guy making sense?
This is a crazy decision. It's against the facts. It's against science. It's against reality itself. We know we have to decarbonize our future. If we don't, it's a horror. People are going to die. Habitat will be destroyed. Seas will rise. Insects will spread in areas they've never been before. This is not a game. It's not politics to talk to your base. It's humanity and whether it makes it through the 21st century.
Well, the good news is insects have a smaller carbon footprint than the humans that are going to die. So Jerry Brown should be celebrating that.
For those insects.
Here's something else, too. Human beings, carbon-based life forms. So, the left could make one heroic last stand in the wake of this destructive decision by President Trump and reduce their respective carbon footprints to zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Lining up for that, Ted.
Ziff in Hyde Park, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Good morning, nighttime team. Wow.
Ziff, I love you, Ziff. Where have you...
He's doing his Ronnie Woo Woo. Hey, Ziff.
Did you guys hear that Ronnie Woo Woo had been barred for Wrigley Field?
I brought that story exclusively 3 weeks before it hit the newspapers, yes.
Wow.
Amy's his representation.
I was trying to get Ronnie a ring, and I know the Cubs probably definitely don't want to have a ring on his finger.
Oh. No.
Yes, but listen, guys, Bruce Rauner, because I know you guys are supposed to be having him up.
Yeah.
Dan,
8 o'clock, top of the 8 o'clock hour there.
Well, the only good thing about Bruce is we got time. Otherwise, he'd be like Jaws. He'd be dead in the water if the election was tomorrow. I got my slogan, and I'm going to go with it. I'm going to stick with it.
Okay.
Just bag Bruce. Give him a little more time. He said months ago he needed 21 months.
Just back Bruce, B-A-C-K.
Just bag Bruce.
Okay.
If you stick with that, we'll give him some time because, like I tell my friends, okay, we'll go back with Madigan. Same deal. You keep throwing your fishing rod in the same place and you're not getting anything. You keep throwing, you're going to get the same thing. I think they're going to give him a chance. I really think they're going to give him a chance.
All right, Ziff will run that slogan by him when he joins us. Thanks for the call. Appreciate it. Have a good weekend. Mark in Plainfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Dan and Amy, I'm surprised no one spotted the Russian connection in this. Russia's a cold place, so Putin is obviously making Trump warm the globe with American carbon, and then when Siberia thaws out, it's going to be the richest real estate in the world.
Wow. I didn't make that connection.
Stretch.
That is really connecting some dots, Mark. Thanks for the call. Sean in Elmwood Park. By the way, Sean
is your new dog sitter?
Yeah, he's watched my dog at the Elmer Cigar House for the last couple of days, which I appreciate.
Well, someone's got to teach that dog to be a man. Drop that dog off. I'll take care of it. Listen, this is huge. This is huge, this Paris Accord. I got your Paris Accord right here. It's perfect because it opens up the dialogue. This is a paid-for result science. It is not science. No one has mentioned methane hydrate. Nobody even knows what it is. It's the greatest boom in the history, and it's coming. And the environmentalists don't want it because it throws off their entire theory. So you know a science is frauded when a guy like Tesla, Euro trash, gets $5 billion a year. That means in the last 10 years he's got $50 billion, and it really poured in under Obama. And he's gonna protest by leaving. Investigate that son of a dog, because I'll tell you right now, $1.5 billion's in his pocket. You think he's so magnanimous with his air trains and his electric Maseratis that you're paying $15,000 a car every time one of these idiots buys it.
It's all pneumatic tubes. That's next. Elon Musk, who of course Sean is referring to, announced he's departing the presidential councils because climate change is real and leaving the Paris Accord is not good for America.
My money?
Yeah.
Now, where's my money, Elon? $5 billion a year. Where's the money? I want a forensic audit of every one of these guys, and that goes for Hillary Clinton's fat brother too, who got $130 million for an electric car company that never made a car. See, this is the greatest, one of the top 5 greatest government scams of all times. So for this time, right now, today, Trump, you are my guy. I'll pretend the girl isn't there and the hair is normal.
All right.
Very proud of you.
Thanks for the call, Sean. Boy,
Wow.
Sean and Tom.
Both calling in to congratulate President Trump.
Yeah.
It's a new day, Dan.
Ann B. Davis's bowling ball texts, when the waters rise, I'll be with you on the back of that dolphin, riding over the rainbow to the liberal utopia. Parentheses, Detroit. Boy, that would make me very, very happy. Ann B. Davis's bowling ball. I can't wait.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Coming up next, can we talk about Dan Proft getting out of his car and confronting an Uber driver? Dan takes on the left again, this time in a different way. Forecast, you're going to love this. Plenty of sunshine today, a high of 85. Tomorrow, we're going to have mostly sunny skies, a couple of showers and thunderstorms around 5 p.m., a high of 85. And on Sunday, just another glorious day. Clouds and some sunshine, a high of 86. Let's get into our alarm detection systems traffic center. Busy day. We've got a home game against the Cardinals. It's going to be a little bit dicey, huh?
We do?
We.
Are you on the Cubs?
Yeah.
You play?
I play.
What position?
I'm a backup for Anthony Rizzo.
Oh, there you go.
On first base.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Yeah, definitely not we for this Southsider. Amy, we do have pretty light traffic right now in the Wrigleyville area. It will be heavy this afternoon with the Cubs and Cards, and certainly a lot of people coming in from St. Louis. And if they're coming in early, they're going to find heavy delays on the inbound Stevenson Expressway. It's slow before you get to 355, and then once you get there, you're looking at an hour and 9 minutes from 355 to Lakeshore Drive. It's 59 minutes from the Tri-State. Outbound 40 minutes to 355. The Edens is 20 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Kennedy, 38 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, outbound 30. The Ike, now an hour. From Thorndale to the post office, outbound it's 40 minutes. The Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th to downtown. Northbound Tri-State slow, 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis. The Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve at 8094. As eastbound delays central to Ripley, westbound I-65 to Burr. I'm Jim Talamonte in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center.
A good parking lot is essential to a good building and a good business.
This is Kevin Berquist. My company is SKC Construction, home of GreatParkingLots.com. Great parking lots. The name says it all. We make your parking lot great. We are an industry leader in seal coating. You can trust our company to do the work for your company. We have the same traditional values as you. We use a process and application that makes sure you get a great job that lasts a long time. I guarantee you'll have a good experience. Go to our website, greatparkinglots.com. Check it out, greatparkinglots.com.
Go to greatparkinglots.com. Schedule a free inspection and get a quote to make your parking lot a great parking lot. Save the expense. Fix, don't replace. Contact SKC Construction now for commercial parking lot seal coating and maintenance. SKC Construction, home of greatparkinglots.com. greatparkinglots.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down. My blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Does your water stain and damage your fixtures? Does it smell or taste bad? Are you worried about what's in your water? Water quality should not be painful and worrisome. Get HydroCare water systems from Wave Home Solutions with the most advanced purification technologies. Call Wave Home Solutions today at 1-866-979-9147 or go to bestwaternow.com. HydroCare will eliminate limescale that causes hundreds of dollars in damage to pipes and appliances without using salt. Well water will no longer smell or stain your fixtures. City water will be purified of harmful chlorine, lead, arsenic, and chemicals. Wave Home Solutions provides the cleanest, healthiest water at every faucet. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 1-866-979-9147, 1-866-979-9147, or go to bestwaternow.com. That's bestwaternow.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
AM 560, The Answer.
Mr. Cab Driver.
Oh, yeah. Is it time? Oh, this is the best story ever. So Dan and I had to fill in for Michael Medved yesterday. So we had to go through traffic, when we're not used to really driving in traffic to get to the station. And you have your new dog, Hayek, with you. And he was in the car.
Yeah, I was driving to drop him off at the Elmer Cigar House while I did the show.
I can't believe Sean is your dog watcher?
And all of the noblemen and magistrates that visit the cigar house.
Okay, so you're on your way, and Hayek was in the front seat of your Mercedes-Benz.
Right. So in this instance, though, the Uber driver wasn't the Travis Bickle character. I was.
Okay, so tell us what, because you said you got out of your car, and my heart skipped a beat. Like, what? Because those are fighting words. You get out of the car, you bring it. You bring it now.
So this guy, and I was watching him. He's in the center lane. I'm in the left lane, downtown Elmhurst. And I'm watching him. I can tell he's going to cut me off. So I slow down, and then he stabilizes in the middle lane. Then I speed up to get around him, and then he darts in. And I have to slam on the brakes and essentially pull a little bit left to avoid him while I extend my right arm to catch the dog so the dog doesn't go fly. Because it was a hard stop to go flying into the dashboard or worse.
Look at that. You did the mom move.
And
that's
so,
such a mom move.
Yeah.
So cute.
That's right. And so
then it got ugly.
I was hot. So then I pulled him over.
Okay,
at
you
the
can't
light.
make a citizen's arrest.
I didn't make a
Dan.
citizen's arrest. I just got out of my car. I had some colorful language for him, some colorful descriptions of his manhood and family ancestry and so forth. And then he responded by like, oh, he's an Uber driver.
Yes.
He's an Uber.
Did he put his phone in your face?
Putting my phone up, like, oh, say it to the phone. I said, I'll say it to the phone. Step out of your car and bring your phone right now. And then he turned the corner, and then I followed him and pulled up to him at the stop sign, and I said, get out of your car right now. And, there was some other, like, Tom Perez-like language involved with that you can't say on the air. And, I mean, honestly, Hayek was fine, and so I calmed down by the time I got to the stop sign a little bit. But I was ready to pull him out of his car.
See, now you're getting these paternal instincts, which I love, because if the Hayek wasn't in your car, you wouldn't have really cared and you wouldn't have demanded that he pulls over. No, I'm onto something here. This dog is softening your heart.
He's softening my heart such that I am prepared to throttle Uber drivers on public streets.
Well, when did you realize that this might not be a good idea? Because I don't want you to have a Tiger Woods photo.
Well, right.
Mugshot. But we would Photoshop
probably
it. So
wouldn't be good to be arrested, and then I would have probably, as I was being processed, I would have missed filling in for Michael Medved, and I don't think
that would
you or Michael Medved or the station management would have been happy about that. So
Where's Dan? Oh, he's in custody in Elmhurst.
He's bonding out. He'll be right here. So that was it. But no, I mean, it's the combination of, one, he's a goof and he's incompetent and he's not paying attention and he's jeopardizing others. But two is that response, that little response, like, you're fun. This is also funny. And I held up Hayek. I said, you almost hurt my dog. And then he's like, oh, little cute little puppy. I said, don't talk to my dog. You're talking to me. And then, so much from there.
And it is a concern because I have a friend whose dog died because they got T-boned and the dog flew right into the windshield and died. So it does happen. So I could get you a dog seatbelt. They have those.
I should probably do that. But honestly, if Hayek would have been hurt, I would have been arrested. I was that upset.
So the moral of the story is stay away from Dan and his dog.
Just as a general rule, not whether in the car. Just get away from me. And Hayek.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, Scott Shellady will be here.
We'll have May jobs numbers to pour over with us at 7:37.
And later, Illinois could become the nation's first junk state. Governor Bruce Rauner will be joining us at 8:08. But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's the one and only Mike Scott.
63 degrees, mostly sunny skies in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. White House says President Trump explained to key allies why he decided to withdraw the U.S. from the Paris Climate Change Accord. The president spoke by phone with leaders of Germany, France, Canada, and the U.K., Trump reassuring them that the U.S. is committed to robust efforts to protect the environment. We get this reaction, though, from Canadian Environment Minister Catherine McKenna.
The Paris Agreement is a good deal for Canada, and it's a good deal for the world.
McKenna yesterday saying it's unfortunate because she's seen some support for the agreement from American states and cities. The Secret Service is relaxing its policy on marijuana use by applicants in order to hire more agents. The new director telling reporters that the new policy will measure how long it's been since the last time an applicant used marijuana until now. An applicant who used more than a certain number of times would be disqualified. Relatives are rushing to funeral homes to see the remains of loved ones charred in a fire set by a gunman who robbed a Manila casino. So far, the police chief says 36 bodies have been recovered from the smoky gambling rooms. Investigators are searching for answers after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood on the far south side. 28-year-old Robert Spoon died in the blaze yesterday. Federal prosecutors want a judge to block a reputed mob figure from taking part in activities with his union while he awaits trial for embezzling union funds. It's a local story, and we get the angle from AM 560's David Stewart.
65-year-old John Matas is pleading not guilty to a 10-count indictment accusing him of putting his wife on the payroll of a laborers union in a do-nothing job, then reducing his own salary as secretary-treasurer so he could qualify for early retirement benefits from Social Security. Prosecutors say unless the judge intervenes, Matassa would be free to communicate with witnesses and to make decisions about spending union funds while he awaits trial. The judge asked the prosecutors to put their requests in writing. In the 1990s, Matassa was kicked out of the presidency of a different union because of his alleged ties to organized crime. David Stewart, NBC News Radio, Chicago.
And a suburban Chicago 8th grader is the third best speller in America. Mira Didhia placed third in the Scripps National Spelling Bee yesterday, misspelling Heredia. Do you know how to spell it? Ehretia. She attends McClure Junior High in Western Springs. The last speller eliminated before the final two contestants battled it out for 20 rounds. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game set with the rival Cardinals this afternoon. White Sox begin a 3-game set with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. Golden State, way too much for LeBron and his other guys. Warriors over the Cavaliers, 113-91 in Game 1 of the NBA Finals. The news, a service of Napa Auto Parts this month at participating Napa stores. Valvoline full synthetic motor oil is on sale for just $5.59 a quart. Take advantage now and protect your engine from the heat all summer long. General States pricing. Sale prices do not include applicable state or local taxes or recycling fees. 7:33 is our time. We'll have a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, best beans, best roast, best coffee.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing independently owned business bank.
It's a bank where relationships still matter. Signature Bank knows your name and your story. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
Hi, I'm Dave Geiselhart, president and owner of Home Trust Mortgage and customer of Signature Bank. When the large banks turned away from the mortgage lending industry during the financial crisis, I turned to locally owned Signature Bank. Signature Bank stepped in and helped me expand our business at a time when the larger banks wouldn't. Today, I'm proud to say Home Trust Mortgage has been able to expand our business in Illinois and the Great Lakes region. We couldn't have done that without the help of Signature Bank. Signature Bank truly helps Chicago businesses like mine grow and thrive. That's why we also became personal customers and shareholders of Signature Bank, Chicago's business bank.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Harvey owns a building and wants to save money by making his heating and cooling system more energy efficient.
Yes.
But Harvey's afraid of the cost and if he can get a return on his investment.
I am indeed.
Plus, he's nervous about disrupting the businesses that rent space in his building. Harvey doesn't know what to do with an HVAC system that's seen better days. The Air Comfort problem solvers to the rescue. Working as a team, the Air Comfort professionals find simple solutions that make a huge impact on building efficiency and operating costs, with minimal or no disruptions to building operations. HVAC upgrades and retrofits from Air Comfort can save thousands of dollars per year. They save energy, reduce maintenance, and eliminate downtime. And buildings with better energy ratings command higher rents and selling prices, and make tenants happy. Get real solutions from the Air Comfort team of problem solvers. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com and start saving money today. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
7:35. Let's check the roads. In the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center, here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy. Delays start at Harlem. It's 46 minutes O'Hare to downtown, 20 from Montrose, 17 in the Express. Outbound 33 minutes to O'Hare. Edens, just 20 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 27. The Eisenhower's 1 hour. Thorndale to downtown, 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 13 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 40 minutes. Ryan is 35 minutes, 95th to downtown. The delays on the Tri-State are northbound from 111th to the Hinsdale Oasis and from the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Adams Tollway slow Randall to the Elgin Toll with a crash on the right shoulder. Veterans Memorial slow Butterfield to Roosevelt. Army Trail to Lake. Traffic is the service of Farmers Insurance. It takes more than a roof to make sure your home is covered. Farmers Insurance has over 89 years of knowledge and experience so you can protect what's important to you. Learn more at farmers.com. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560. The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Today, sunny and 85. Tomorrow, as they step off for the 71st Annual Pet Parade in LaGrange, America's original pet parade. Don't let anyone tell you any different. Periods of clouds and sun as they get ready to go at Cossett Avenue and LaGrange Road tomorrow. A couple of showers, maybe a thunderstorm, and high of 85. Currently, we have 59 degrees at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by MJ Miller & Company Jewelers. Make time for Dad with a Grand Seiko watch from MJ Miller in downtown Barrington.
If you're talking about it, I'll be talking about it. Dennis Prager here. Join me this morning at 11, right here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So the May jobs numbers are out, well below the ADP prediction. 138,000 new jobs in March, which is, May, and that's well below replacement rate.
It's anemic, as you said.
Yeah, it redoubles the call for tax reform, for something to be fashioned by the Senate on Obamacare replacement, for the continued deregulation that Trump is pursuing with that government bureaucracy. It's underreported, but an important part of what the Trump team is engaged in. It's a particular focus of Steve Bannon's, actually.
Yeah. I can't keep my eye off the 4.3% unemployment rate.
It's a meaningless number. Yeah,
There's 4.3%. I can't remember it being that low.
I mean, it might as well be zero. Just say it's
Just
zero.
say it's 1.0.
For more distillation from an expert perspective, we're pleased to be joined again by our friend Scott the Cow Guy, Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor. And Scott, before we get into the meat of the economics here, I do have to address something with you of a personal nature.
Uh-oh.
All right.
Is there a tear in your cow jacket?
No. I played golf with a guy at the Cathedral of Golf in North America, Chicago Golf Club.
Okay.
Barrett Carlson is his name. Really nice guy. Good golfer. Good player. He says, Scott Shellady, you have him on the show all the time. I said, yeah, he's a great guy. And he said, I know Scott Shellady because I was a pitcher on the West Chicago high school baseball team, and Scott Shellady broke up my no-hitter, with a solo shot. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Was it a solo shot to center field, right field? Tell me about it.
Yeah, I understand you had tremendous opposite field power as a high school baseball player.
Well, I didn't really have that much power. I mean, I believe me, if you saw me in person, you'd say my hips and thighs would be able to put the ball over the outfield fence. But no, I just had good eye-hand coordination. But I do remember that, and there was a few of those, and that's I don't know what to say. I feel bad now.
You ruined his life. Well, he's still talking about it decades later.
Yeah, I mean,
his no was ruined by Scott Shellady.
I mean, he's gone on to be very successful. He's a member of Chicago Golf. He's got a great life, but there's a hole there.
A hole in his heart because of Scott.
It's all because of Scott Shellady. I just wanted you to know that, Scott.
Wow. There's probably some therapy for that, so maybe we'll see what we can do.
All right, so Scott, 138,000 jobs in May.
Yeah.
What are we to read from that?
You know, these numbers, and especially this one, are just still coming in soft, and it's hard to get our hands around it. We've had decent earnings for the stock market, hence the reason why we're starting to close at these all-time highs. But you know what? The 10-year interest rate, the 10-year yield on the Treasury is at 2.2-ish%. And you know what? We've had 3 interest rate hikes, and each time we've hiked, that rate has gone down. So we've raised interest rates, and the 10-year yield has gone down, which is really funny. And that's basically telling me that the Treasury market, which is the world's biggest market, much bigger than the equity markets, is taking a bet, thinking that the Fed is going to screw this up again and tighten too soon, and saw whatever signs of life we may have had out there, and it's starting to show up that way. So that's a little bit of a worry.
You know what you want to do, though, just on that score? You want to put all your money in Illinois bonds, Scott.
Yeah, because if I can't start my furnace with the paper I'm using, I can use those.
Exactly.
They're not. That's a whole other story. But it's just not proving to be a solid, or what, recovery is probably too big of a word to use. I mean, when's the last time we raised interest rates in sub 2% GDP? So, I mean, we've got some real problems, and yeah, he needs to score big with something to get this economy going. But we still keep getting mired in these things like the Paris Climate Accord that really throw us off base. So there's a ton of work to do, and on top of that, we've got technology taking a lot of these jobs away. It's just going to be very difficult.
But don't you think pulling out of the Paris climate deal was a good idea?
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you really sit down, but it's like arguing against a religion. I mean, these people won't let you come up with a point of view. If you disagree with the Paris Climate Accord, you are somehow wanting to pollute and burn up the world. I mean, you're not allowed to have a polite discourse about it. They just want, if you don't believe in it, then you're a bad person. And I think that's a lot of times what's happening with the CEOs out there. They can't afford not to be seen to be supporting it, so they all do and throw a tizzy. But at the end of the day, there's nothing that's going to make our climate better by letting India and China continue to burn coal until 2030 when they might happen to get around to starting to reduce some of their emissions. So it's one of those things that doesn't make sense. But once again, we're going to get sidetracked about the real thing that we need to do, and that's get the economy going.
Well, but to get the economy going, what about the energy sector? I would think that the withdrawal from the Paris Accord sends a positive signal with respect to a real growth sector in the U.S. economy with the fracking boom, and that's with our energy sector. And an energy-independent America is a stronger, more robust America. So I would think that would be a good signal to the markets. Yeah,
you would, and it is kind of a good signal. But the flip
that now Trump's going to open up, open up everything and see the free flow of crude. So
Right.
crude oil is getting cheaper, and a cheaper crude oil doesn't do our energy sector very good. I mean, that's very well. So it's a
But it lowers the cost of energy for businesses.
Yes, it does. But if you don't have a job, it doesn't matter what the price of gas is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right, well,
We get to a point where the energy companies, which were there for us, the energy sector really brought us out of the problems in 2008, 2009. Well, they need to see $50, $60 oil. That's going to be a problem.
quite an impressive unemployment rate, 4.3%. But what do you think the real unemployment rate is?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of double counting that goes on involved there, and it doesn't matter. I mean, these people are working; they're not manufacturing jobs. I mean, these aren't real. These are jobs that are going to really substantially put money in people's pockets so they go out and spend. The retail sector's been kind of okay, but at the end of the day, the unemployment rate has probably been a fake number, like fake news, for probably the last 7 years. It just isn't indicative of what's happening out there. I could argue the fact that it's not it's not helping them even putting it out there. So what's really important is GDP. That's what we should all be focusing on, 100% focusing on. And the problem is that, I saw a clip of the Reagan years. There was a 1980s show on the other day, and they let slip that we had a 700,000 jobs number, and they were looking at a 7% GDP. I mean, that's the numbers that we used to do in this country.
Do you think? Is it possible if you saw something on Obamacare replacement, if we did substantial tax reform, particularly on the corporate side, is it possible you hit Trump's targets that Steve Moore says are possible, 3-4% GDP growth?
I think 3% is possible, yes. I think if we get some significant tax reform, I mean, he's already got the sentiment going the right way. And a lot of times sentiment's harder than anything else. But he's got sentiment in the right direction. There's a little bit of confidence out there that we haven't had amongst business people. So now if he can just move the runners around, he doesn't have to hit it over the fence. So if we could just break up that no-no with one solid line drive.
Oh, there you go. But you're just rubbing it in. I mean, it just never ends with you. All he talks about is that home run.
So, yeah, I mean, if he can get something across the plate, because that's what the economy is going to need to kind of come in and fill in behind the good feeling, the decent sentiment, and the okay earnings. We need to see GDP pushing up against that 3%, and then you're going to really see a lot of things happen for the good. But right now, sub 2% is not good.
I got to ask you about Illinois, where we have Governor Rauner on at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. And so yesterday, Moody's helped Illinois earn the distinction of the worst credit rating any state has ever had in the history of our country. The bond yield premium post downgrade 250 basis points, which doesn't sound terrible until you realize that's about 130% premium the state, meaning taxpayers, pay over a decade. So, yeah.
So we're the nation's first junk state?
Not yet, but we're just a tick above that. That's coming in the next 30 days. So what would you advise Governor Rauner to do other than abdicate?
Well, I mean, that would probably, you're right, be the first thing to do. Number two is that unless you can change the leadership of the state that's been in power and systematically destroyed it over the last 30 to 40 years, nothing is going to change. That's the problem. You can't, they're in a death spiral, and there's nothing really that's going to get them out. There's going to have to be some sort of reset. You can't tax less and less people more and more to get out of your problem. That is going to end, and it will end badly. That's the mathematical equation that you can see on the wall. So I think anybody that wants to get involved with that has got to totally revamp or have all new elections where we get all new people in there that can actually run the state like it should be run. If, we're losing. Did you see the last one about the top 20 cities in the country? We're the only one that lost people.
Yeah, Chicago, right?
So we're losing people. The state's losing people. They're diving over the borders left, right, and center. I've got friends in Indiana that are doing very well as realtors because people are just pulling up stakes in Illinois and running over. So that's going to continue to happen until there's a wholesale change, and I don't think there's going to be a wholesale change.
And but the rating agencies, I mean, just in terms of looking at what they're saying, in addition to saying they don't have confidence in the fiscal policy decisions that are being made,
what are they saying with these downgrades and ultimately rating Illinois junk? Is that also a message to the bond market that Illinois should no longer be have access to it?
Yeah, they should no longer be a part of your portfolio. I mean, there's a lot of places, a lot of funds that can't hold that type of debt, so they can't even get involved. Number one, that's why they have to raise their interest rates so high to become attractive. So that what that means is, in order to borrow the money for the citizens of Illinois, the state has to raise the offering of the interest rate high enough that it's going to get people to take a gamble. But the people that are paying back that high interest rate are the citizens of Illinois. So that is part of the debt spiral. And so a lot of folks can't get involved. A lot of funds can't be involved in holding that type of paper because it's just not safe enough, number one. And number two, the people that finally do decide to hold that paper, the citizens of Illinois are the ones that are paying them for that right. So it's a debt spiral. The higher your rate goes, the more you have to pay back, and the less people in Illinois that are there to do that. I don't see how that math works out.
Yeah, and it's happening at every level, too. Of course, Chicago's been doing this, just did this $900 million to keep CPS afloat for one more semester. And, what you're doing, too, like, for example, at the state level, you borrow money to, say, make a pension payment. So you're borrowing at 9% with the hopes of a 3% return. Yeah, is that the math you're talking about?
That's part of the math I'm talking about. And how about the idea that they're taking from Peter and giving to Paul when it comes to that, let's say, the pension funds? I mean, we're so underfunded that the mathematics or the crazy mathematics behind the doors of what they're doing to have those things, their liabilities being met, is also scandalous. It's almost a Ponzi scheme. So the only way out of this is a reset, really. I mean, that's or abdication, like you said about Governor Rauner, because it's going to be very, very difficult. I mean, I don't know, unless we have some sort of electron transport kind of technology that the state of Illinois can invent that can really bring the economy out of its doldrums, there isn't anything on the horizon that's going to do it for them. He
is Scott Shellady, Fox Business contributor, home run hitter. Fox, Scott, I should say, Scott the Cow Guy, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
All right, see you next week. See ya.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
If you have pain, listen up. Dennis Prager here. You don't need to live in pain. Let me repeat that. You don't have to live in pain. Chronic pain is the worst, whether it's from an accident or pain that just develops. So, Chicagoland, you're in luck. Dr. Ken Candido is one of the nation's most respected and successful pain doctors. He's been voted one of Chicago's best pain doctors several times. Bottom line, he's the pain doctor you need. Dr. Candido of Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists will help you get off pain medication and all of its side effects. How? By finding the source of your chronic pain and fixing it.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. Let's make you pain-free.
Call Dr. Ken Candido and make an appointment with a cutting-edge, respected, and successful pain physician. Go to mypainchicago.com. That's mypainchicago.com. Thousands have been helped with their chronic pain, and you can be the next one. Get the phone number and all the info you need at mypainchicago.com.
Well, if you have my pain, get on my pillow. And you'll wake up every morning, feel refreshed and rejuvenated, ready to tackle your day, because you can move the patented fill to conform to your neck and back so you'll sleep better and stay in deep sleep longer, Dan. And right now, when you use the promo code Amy, you still get 50% off that 4-pack. 4-pack is 2 premium My Pillows and 2 Go Anywhere My Pillows, all for the price of 1 and half off right now. So go for it. Nothing to lose. It's hypoallergenic. It's washable, dryable, made in the US of A. 10-year warranty. I mean, who puts a 10-year warranty on a product unless they truly believe in it? And there's also a 60-day money-back guarantee. So go to mypillow.com, promo code Amy, for your 50% discount off the 4-pack. 2 premium My Pillows, 2 Go Anywhere My Pillows. I could use a My Pillow right now. Yeah, or you could call this number 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201.
If you're over the age of 50 and considering buying an annuity in the next 60 days, I have some important news for you. Don't buy an annuity until you understand the pros and cons of annuities. A free book to help you maximize your retirement income from television host and 3-time author Josh Melberg has been released. This book reveals little-known truths about annuity strategies in simple-to-understand terms. Grab a pen right now because we are about to offer you this free book that unlocks the 5 little-known secrets we believe baby boomers and seniors should know before buying an annuity. Call 800-725-1616 now and you'll receive a free copy of Josh Melberg's book, Next Gen Annuity Strategies Revealed. As a bonus, we'll also send you a copy of The #1 Mistakes Retirees Are Making with Their Investments Today and a free DVD on how you can get up to 33% more income in retirement. Call 800-725-1616. That's 800-725-1616. Employees of J.D. Melberg Financial have the appropriate licenses for the products they offer.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
We're back on the radio and getting bigger than ever.
We're the #1 Lincoln dealer in town.
And Chicagoland's first ever Ford Lincoln Superstore, too.
Folks like our great deals, for sure.
Just yesterday, I got attacked by the paparazzi.
Really?
But I think the groupies are the worst.
Groupies?
All the Highland Park groupies we have.
Sure. Right, Al.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Well, I have groupies.
A rich fantasy life is important.
This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity, sponsored by Upstream-Ideas.com. Since collusion is the D.C. watchword of the day, let's discuss the collusion between big government and its press agents. A recent Harvard study found that reporting on Trump's first 100 days by major news outlets was 80% negative. That's compared to 60% positive on Obama in his first 100 days. The frontal assault on Trump may be more intense, but it's nothing new. Academic research finds that since 1964, 80 to 95% of the D.C. press corps voted for the Democrat nominee for president. They are as government-centric as the Pauls and influence peddlers they cover. They find crisis only when a government program is in jeopardy. They report with a perspective, consciously or not, in advance of big government. Consider, if during the past 50 years, 80 to 95% of the D.C. press corps had instead voted for the Republican presidential candidate, do you think their coverage would have been different? Do you think our government would be different? Yet complaining about conservatives getting a fair shake is as quixotic as expecting one. Conservatives need to spend less energy attacking the big government D.C. press corps' fortified castle and more on continuing to build our own in the form of data-driven news outlets in advance of our perspective.
What are you going to wear a week from Thursday at the golf outing? I mean, I don't
know, pants and a golf shirt.
I can't wear the same clothes I wore last year, can I?
Sure you can.
I'm fine.
Everybody remembers, oh, you wore that last year. How gauche.
Well, because I wore it the year before and the year before. But anyway, our golf outing is a week from Thursday, and it's sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford, and it's being held at the Bolingbrook Golf Club, where they have more than just golf. Check out all the information about their 4th of July celebration, complete with food, fun, and fireworks. Go to BolingbrookGolfClub.com. That's BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
I have actually been on Balance of Nature for a year now. I have MS, and I recently had an MRI. This is the first year that I've had a stable MRI, so I'm thrilled. When I have an MRI with MS, usually there are glowing spots that come through, which is damage on the nerves in my brain and my spinal cord, and when they're glowing, it means they're active. And then my last MRI, they pulled it up, and I honestly couldn't believe that it was my MRI. There was nothing glowing. And in fact, the dark spots were shrinking. They were healing. And the doctor actually said to me, I think we're in remission. I was so happy. I had no idea that could be my reality.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
Your kids won't be thinking about school very much this summer, but it's the perfect time for you to think about where you'll be sending your child back to school this fall. More and more parents are thinking about private school, and maybe that's you. Well, private school has never been more affordable thanks to halfpriceschools.com, where you can find tuition vouchers for private schools across Chicagoland available at half of the normal price. No catch, very simple. Find a school near you, purchase the tuition voucher, and prepare to send your child off to school this fall. Halfpriceschools.com has schools located all across Chicagoland, including schools in South Holland, Arlington Heights, Downers Grove, Waukegan, Westchester, Bensonville, Kankakee, Romeoville, Mount Prospect. But don't delay. Summer won't last forever, and school will be starting again before you know it. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. Many of these vouchers have already sold out, so don't wait. Visit halfpriceschools.com today. That's halfpriceschools.com.
AM 560. The Answer.
Too Shy Shy. Hush Hush Eye to Eye. Who sings this song?
Kaja Gugu.
Kaja Gugu. Okay. Real quick, you know how we talked about Kathy Griffin? She's having that press conference today.
Yeah.
With her new attorney, her
new spokesperson.
Oh, her new spokesperson.
To talk about the bullying she has suffered at the hands of Barron Trump.
Oh my gosh, this is much watched television. I can't wait to see it. But remember Senator Al Franken saying he stood by her, and you know she made an apology. He accepted it, but he was going to do this event in July with her. Well, he's flip-flopped. He said, after hearing from many Minnesotans who were rightfully offended, I've come to the conclusion that it would be best for her not to participate in the event we had previously scheduled. I understand why Minnesotans are upset by this, and I take that very seriously.
Well, it's nice to know that the Minnesota electorate has better taste and sense of propriety than does their United States Senator. Maybe they should make a switch in that position next time around.
He just wants to be good enough, smart enough, and have people like him.
Yeah, that's right. All right, coming up at 8:08, we talked to Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner about the credit downgrade for the state of Illinois, the lack of a budget, and where we go from here. We know where the Democrats want to go. More from you. Where does Governor Rauner want to go? We'll ask him at 8:08.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. An investigation underway into a Chicago paramedic's death. Some other Democrats are pouncing on Pritzker in the governor's race. We'll tell you why. Cubs open up a series with the Cardinals, while the White Sox will take on the Tigers. A mostly sunny day ahead. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
The unemployment rate hits a new 16-year low. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News, but that drop comes despite less than expected new hiring. Fox's Ginny Casola details the Just Out Jobs Report live.
Dave, May's employment report weaker than expected. There were 138,000 new jobs created last month, but economists were expecting approximately 185,000. There were more people employed in construction and mining, fewer working in retail and government. The unemployment rate did decline to 4.3%, which is a 16-year low, but the labor force participation rate, how many people are working or looking for work, declined to 62.7%. Dave?
Ginny, on Wall Street, stock futures are up modestly coming off yesterday's Dow and NASDAQ record highs. There's been quite the strong reaction to President Trump announcing the U.S. will pull out of the Paris Climate Change Accord.
Future generations will look back on this day as one of the worst things that's happened in the 21st century.
Democratic Senate Leader Chuck Schumer.
Climate justice now!
That's a protest in New York, but Vice President Pence says the deal was bad for America's economy.
American industry in the heartland and all across America depends on fossil fuels and coal-burning power plants.
And he tells Fox,
we will lead in the world, not follow the world.
Much of the rest of the world, though, disagrees. Fox's Simon Owen live in London.
Today, French President Emmanuel Macron inviting American climate change scientists to move to France, saying we will not give up this fight. German Chancellor Angela Merkel calling the president's decision, quote, utterly regrettable and rejecting the president's offer to renegotiate the agreement. 195 countries signed up to the Paris Accord, many expressing disappointment at President Trump's withdrawal, but China, Russia and India saying they remain committed to the agreement. Dave?
Simon, President Trump's taking the case of his blocked executive order on travel to the Supreme Court next. Fox News, fair and balanced.
Mostly sunny skies, 63 degrees. It's 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage warranty. Investigators are searching for answers after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood. Firefighters say 28-year-old Robert Spoon died in the blaze yesterday. His friend apparently owned that home. Investigators say they're still looking for a cause for that fire. Chicago police say 2 are dead, 5 others recovering after shootings on the city's west and south sides. Illinois' credit is getting worse. Both Moody's Investors Service and Standard & Poor's downgraded Illinois' credit yesterday. The move comes one day after Illinois Democrats, who hold the majority in the General Assembly, punted on a state budget. Other Democrats in the race for governor say J.B. Pritzker needs to answer many more questions about those tape-recorded phone calls between he and imprisoned former Governor Rod Blagojevich. State Senator Daniel Biss was harsh, saying Pritzker used the same rigged game that the rich and well-connected have played for years. The FBI caught Pritzker on tape back in 2008 asking for an appointment from Governor Rod Blagojevich. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game series with the rival Cardinals this afternoon. The White Sox begin a 3-game series with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. UIC clashing with Southern Miss today in an opening round game. In the College World Series, Hattiesburg Regional. UIC, the only Division I school from this state in the tournament. The news, a service of Farmers Insurance. It takes more than a roof to make sure your home is covered. Farmers Insurance has over 89 years of knowledge and experience, so you can protect what's important to you. Learn more at farmers.com. It's 8:04, time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here's Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, wind turbine company Vestas says wind energy is likely to continue attracting major investments globally and the U.S., despite the U.S. pulling out from the Paris Accord. Though a company spokesman says it would be better for Vestas if the U.S. stays in the agreement as is. Volkswagen's Audi unit is now being investigated for cheating on diesel emissions in Europe. A spokesman for the prosecutor's office in Munich says the fraud investigation has now expanded into high-end models. You'll be able to buy a piece of Blue Apron, the meal kit delivery company. Blue Apron has filed to go public. And the Labor Department releases its monthly report on the job market today. It's believed more than 174,000 new jobs were created last month. The Dow closed up 135 points yesterday. NASDAQ added 48, S&P up 18. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
If your roof is needy, if your roof is leaky,
Call Grumweedy.
if your roof isn't right after it's stormy and shingles are curly,
Call Grumweedy.
If your roof is looking needy, call Crumweedy. This is Mark Olson of Crumweedy.
And I'm Greg Olson from Crumweedy. We are a third-generation family-run business. We've been doing Chicagoland roofs since 1953.
You really can't do that unless you do really amazing roofs. We share the same conservative values as you, and we really want to do your roof. Here's what you can expect.
First, no high pressure. You make the choice. Whatever option you choose, count on getting a roof that lasts at a fair price.
You see, application is really the key. We follow the manufacturer's specifications so your warranty is intact. You know, a lot of companies don't do that, and that could really void your warranty.
No horror stories here. The roof you need that will fix your problems. When your roof is needy,
Call Grumweedy.
for your needy roof, go to myroofisneedy.com. myroofisneedy.com.
Looks like some cable and phone companies are trying to sell home security. But when a burglar sees one of their signs in the front yard, what does it say? Oh, wow, this home has 599 channels. Or, oh, these guys have high-speed internet. But the ADT sign, it says, this family trusts the company whose name means security. So beat it. It's no wonder 5 times more people choose ADT to protect their homes.
Learn more at ADT.com and to see licensing and terms and conditions.
When you're hiring for a growing business, you don't need lots of candidates. You need the right candidates. You need Indeed.com. With an algorithm that positions your job post where quality candidates are and screener questions that help you zero in on the best talent. Indeed.com, the site proven through an independent study to deliver 5 times more hires than any other. New users claim your $50 credit for a sponsored job at Indeed.com/credit. Indeed, the world's #1 job site. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
It's 8:07, time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. And time to check the roads in the Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center with Jim.
Thanks, Mike. 8094 eastbound traffic is stop and go from Central to Ripley. There was a crash on the right side, of the left side before Ripley just got out of the way, but you're looking at a 7 to 10 minute delay. Westbound at slow I-65 decline. Eastbound Eden Spur, traffic is jammed from before Waukegan Road to the Edens. At Dundee, there's a crash. And it's also heavy Elston to the junction. 26 minutes Lakecoat to Montrose, outbound 41. The Kennedy, 42 minutes O'Hare to downtown. 26 from Montrose, 28 in the Express. Outbound 13 minutes to Montrose, 33 to O'Hare. The Eisenhower, an hour Thorndale to downtown at 45 minutes from Manheim. Outbound 48 to Thorndale. Stevenson before Lamont Road. Got a crash in the two right lanes. Injuries reported. It is an hour and 7 minutes and likely rising from 355 to Lakeshore Drive, about 45 minutes. The Ryan, 33 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State delays are northbound, 95th to the Hinsdale Oasis, and the Reagan Tollway to the Grand Avenue Curve. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A mostly sunny day, high 85. Patchy clouds through the night, low 63. Clouds and sun with a couple of showers and a thunderstorm throughout the day and into the evening tomorrow, high 85. Later at night, turning out to be partly cloudy with a low tomorrow night of 68. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Updated temperatures just coming in, 67 at O'Hare, 68 along Chicago's lakefront. Your next news update is at 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Bolingbrook Golf Club. For tee times and more, visit BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. I'm not sure that the planet is going to implode upon itself, but there is substantially more evidence that Illinois might, at least financially. Not unexpectedly, the state of Illinois' credit rating downgraded by Moody's to just above junk status, the lowest credit rating any state has had in the history of our country. Yeah. And it will probably be downgraded to junk again at the beginning of the fiscal year if there is not an agreement to change the trajectory of spending that is unsustainable in Illinois. That's why we're the worst governed state in the nation. That's how we have $250 billion in debt. That's why we have the largest unfunded pension liabilities in the country, is because we have been spending more than we've been taking in for a half a century. It's not that complicated. Now, getting out of it has become complicated because of divided government, with Chicago Democrats continuing to lord over the General Assembly. And so the General Assembly's legislative session has ended. The budget impasse persists. And this has been an opportunity for J.B. Pritzker, the Blagojevich whisperer.
That's what we're calling him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to be state treasurer, maybe attorney general, maybe senator, maybe congressman. He got nothing and liked it. It didn't like it, so he's running for governor. Here's J.B. Pritzker's latest ad in response to the lack of a budget.
What's happening in Springfield is offensive to our values and to who we are as a state, and Bruce Rauner blames everyone but himself. The failure to pass a budget isn't just about numbers. It's creating real damage to people across Illinois, especially those most vulnerable in our society. Thousands of women and children seeking refuge from violence are finding shelters either closed or with less availability than they once had. Substance abuse programs are at risk in the middle of an opioid and meth epidemic that's ripping apart families and communities. Home care for seniors is in jeopardy. Access to mental health care is under siege. And with Donald Trump in the White House, now more than ever, we need leadership in our state that's committed to fighting for the people of Illinois. None of us can afford to sit on the sidelines. We have to fight for what we believe in. That's why I'm running for governor.
J.B. Pritzker, Democrat for governor. Fighting for what's right, getting things done.
Now, Pritzker is the most pronounced Democrat candidate for governor because he's spending so much money on TV at present. But that is a primary that is far from over, as there is real competition between the hard left and the hardest left. And we'll see if Pritzker survives the primary. So this is a long way from over, but he's the one that is making the most noise right now because he's spending the most money on television.
Yep, and hitting the airways early. But yesterday, Pritzker answered a question from Marianne Ahern about, those wiretaps that were leaked between Governor Blagojevich at the time and Pritzker. They're jockeying for what role do you want? If you can't have U.S. Senate, do you want the treasurer's office? And Pritzker blamed Governor Rauner for the release of those tapes.
Well, it's clear that Bruce Rauner and the GOP have nothing to run on, and so they are simply attacking.
Did you or any of your team leak the story to the Chicago Tribune about J.B. Pritzker and his contact?
Oh, good grief, no. I mean, I heard that story yesterday. It just shows how broken our political system is.
Well, it's real simple. It's a Chicago Tribune story. Who owns the Chicago Tribune? The Illinois Republican Party? Does anybody believe the Chicago Tribune is a house organ for the Republican Party in this state? Good grief is right. For more on this and how we go forward and where we can go forward, we're pleased to be joined by Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Governor Rauner, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Amy. How are you doing today?
Good. Good morning. So what about J.B. Pritzker's new spot where, he places, of course, all the blame at your doorstep?
Our system is so broken, and there are so many people running to maintain the status quo. And you know what? This really isn't about Democrats versus Republicans nearly as much as what it's about is the people of Illinois taking the power back from the career politicians and the Chicago machine. That's what this election is going to be about. And between now and the election, we've got to focus not on politics, but we got to focus on getting the job done, getting a truly balanced budget. And Dan, as you said, the problem is out-of-control spending. We have been spending more than we bring in for decades and decades. The majority that controls the General Assembly has been in power for 35 years. They never spend what we bring in. They always spend more. They've created hundreds of billions of debt on us, on our kids and our grandchildren. They've driven jobs out of the state. They have not properly funded our schools. The system is fundamentally broken. And anybody who would argue, and many in the majority in the General Assembly do argue, but anybody who would argue that we just need to raise taxes to solve the problem, that clearly is not the answer. That will just make our problems worse, not better. We need to change the system, grow our economy, and shrink the wasteful spending.
And we definitely need, a balanced budget, which hasn't happened in 3 years, or actually probably never has happened.
Or 3 decades.
3 decades. But how are we going to fix that problem?
Well, by persistence. I had an elderly woman come up to me the other day and grab me by the arm. She had tears in her eyes, and she said, "Governor, please, stay strong. Don't back down. You're our last hope." And she made me, I got a little teary-eyed myself. This is a big deal. It's so frustrating for everybody. People are being hurt by not having balanced budgets. Jobs are leaving. Carpenters can't find enough work because our property taxes are the highest in America. Truck drivers have gotten laid off because we raised the taxes and fees on truck licenses in Illinois and pushed our trucking firms to Indiana. Factory workers. I talked to a woman. She lost her job in a factory because her factory moved to Texas because the workers' comp rates there are much more reasonable. We have a broken system. It's hurting the people of Illinois, and we've got to change it. And raising taxes or more deficit spending only make the problems worse. No more stopgap budgets, no more deficit spending, and no way we raise taxes on the people of Illinois without major changes to grow jobs and true lasting property tax relief that actually reduces the property tax burden on the people of Illinois.
One of the things that's frustrating for me is people not understanding that, yes, when you make promises you cannot fulfill, and people rely on those promises, when the Ponzi scheme comes crumbling down, people are going to get hurt. And that's sort of what's happening with all of the big systems in government, whether it's the social services or the providers. It's not, or the pensions, I should say. I'm not blaming the state workers. I'm not blaming social service providers. They relied on politicians' promises for a long time that were not being fulfilled on an ongoing basis and were impossible to fulfill. And now we are where we are. So, yes, people are getting hurt. But the frustrating thing is people connecting the dots to how we got here and who lied to them. And if they don't like being lied to, then perhaps they should stop supporting liars.
Well, exactly. The people of Illinois need to be told the truth. And the truth is we've had career politicians based in Chicago controlling our political system for their own benefit. Many of them have become millionaires because of the system and our high property taxes. And they've manipulated the system for their own benefit and for their cronies inside government and their cronies who make their money from government. We've got to get power away from those politicians. That's the reason term limits are so important. But we got to get power back to the people. Term limits will help. Property tax freeze with local control, ability of voters to reduce their property taxes through a referendum, that will help. Give power to the people to consolidate their local government. Don't rely on politicians. Give the people of Illinois the ability through a simple voter referendum to vote to reduce the number of units of government that they have to pay property taxes to. Shrink that down from the ridiculous 7,000 units that we have today in Illinois, the most in America. Shrink the bureaucracy and restore power to the people, and we'll get a good future for our state again.
Going back to the anecdotes you were telling on the campaign trail, of people coming up to you saying, I lost my job because my factory moved out of Illinois and so forth. It seems to me one of the, of course, underreported aspects of the political impasses in Illinois is the crisis in the non-governmental sector, the crisis of families who live in the private sector and finance the public sector. The focus is always on government, and what's happening in government. What about what's happening for families that don't have a head of household or don't have a family member who's employed in government but are struggling to make their own household math work as they work jobs in the private sector?
That's exactly right. And Dan, you're right. I heard these stories, on the campaign trail years ago, but I hear them every day as governor as I travel around the state. I just met with some frustrated factory workers yesterday. We are not growing our jobs nearly at the pace we need to. We still haven't caught up to the number of jobs that we had in Illinois 17 years ago. Now, I'm proud. Since I became governor, I've been recruiting companies, and we've had some success, Amazon and others, and we're up about 100,000 jobs in Illinois. But our growth rate is way slower than Indiana's, way slower than Wisconsin, Michigan, Tennessee, Texas. We aren't growing our economy and growing jobs, and that causes people to suffer. Working families, plumbers, electricians, carpenters, truck drivers, factory workers, they're hurting. They're struggling in Illinois. They got high property taxes. They don't have good job options. Their wages aren't going up because our economy's not booming and things aren't competitive. There's not companies competing to hire them. That's what pushes wages up. We need to restore the quality of life by getting a strong, competitive economy and lowering our property tax burden on our working families so they can afford to live in Illinois and have a good life for their kids. The system is broken. We've got to change it. Term limits, property tax reduction, government consolidation, and pension reform, all are things that we've advocated. All should be part of a balanced budget solution. And we've got to get the General Assembly majority, Speaker Madigan and his loyalists, back here in Springfield with me right now, and let's negotiate a balanced budget and changes to the system.
Speaking of Madigan, when was the last time you two you had a chance to talk one-on-one?
He came in and met with me a couple weeks ago for about 30 minutes. And I found out later that the reason he did it, I tried to talk budget, and he more talked about just, kind of general issues. There was no substance to it. What I found out later was he used that brief meeting as an excuse for why he didn't show up when business leaders in Chicago asked me to meet with him and them in a three-way meeting on the budget. He refused to show up, even though I went and showed up. And he used the excuse, well, I just met with the governor, so we don't need to talk. It was all a sham to tell the business folks he didn't need to really talk to. He just met with me. It's all baloney. It's this false political spin. These phony headlines is what he's a master of. He doesn't deal with the truth. The truth is so bad for him and his allies in the legislature, the loyalists for him. The truth is so bad, they never really deal with the truth. They're always false spin, phony headlines. And that's what we need the people of Illinois to see through that and get at the truth.
For them to understand exactly what the options are and to, kind of get above the din that you're describing, at the end of the session, you said one thing very clearly, that any deal must necessarily include property tax relief for Illinois families. Can you just lay out what, where you have been willing to give and still are, and what are must-haves in terms of getting a constitutionally balanced budget that at least addresses some of our short-term challenges?
Yeah, Dan, so you're right. The one thing that I've been clear that has to be in any budget deal is true property tax relief. And what I mean by that is freeze property taxes where they are today, so the levy is capped for at least 4 years. But even more importantly than that, also give the people of Illinois, the taxpayers, the homeowners, the small businesses of Illinois, the ability through a very simple, easy voter referendum process to decide themselves in the future whether they want their property taxes to go up or down and by how much. In many communities, the taxes are already too high, and people should be able to vote to reduce them. Or if they want more money for their schools or a particular project in their parks or something, they should be able to decide and vote in a referendum to increase them. That's fair, it's reasonable, and it gives power to the people. That's the one thing that I'm not going to compromise on, not going to give in on. Our property taxes are too darn high. The other things are important, and I've given on many of them, I've tweaked. Term limits are important. I've said, okay, General Assembly, if you won't put them on yourself, put term limits on me and all statewide officials, and put term limits on the legislative leaders at a minimum as a compromise. So far, they're talking about that, but they haven't agreed. They have passed pension reform, which I support. They have passed in the Senate procurement reform, which is good. I support. So those are baked. If those could come to my desk, I'd support them. And then in government consolidation and workers' comp, there are the other two issues that are still there. We've compromised a ton. I've said, let's just get workers' comp to someplace that will bring us so we're competitive. At least we're average among the states. We don't have to be the lowest like Indiana, but let's be average so we can compete for more manufacturing jobs through workers' comp reform. And then on government consolidation, 7,000 units of government, double the typical state, and it's causing our property taxes to be sky high. It's one of the causes. I said, look, let's just give power to the people. Let's let local taxpayers vote in a referendum whether they want to consolidate some of the units of government that they're paying their taxes to, that's taking their money away from their schools or taking money out of their pocket that they could keep a better quality of life for their families. Let local citizens, through a referendum, consolidate their local government if they want to. With that power, we'll change the system. That's what I've asked for. That's what can help get balanced budgets. And we're going to keep negotiating, trying to get those done. And
my instinct is that House Speaker Madigan isn't interested in giving you what would be perceived as political wins, isn't interested in getting a deal done, is interested in just relitigating this as a campaign issue in the 2018 cycle. Do you see, are you optimistic at all about a deal getting done, or is this going to November of 2018?
Well, you're right, Dan. The Speaker has no interest. He's been clear. He's been clear for all 2.5 years. He said, we want Republicans on a tax hike. That's the focus. He's been very clear, and he wants no changes. The good news is at least some of his legislators in his caucus know that that's not the right answer, and they are quietly beginning to stand up. We'll see whether they have the backbone to stand up and do the right thing. I don't know, but we got to keep negotiating with members in the caucus and the majority, get them to be actually work for their constituents in their districts rather than just for the Speaker. And we got to stay persistent on this. Hopefully we can get it done.
All right. The struggle continues. He is Illinois Governor Bruce Rauner. Governor, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dan. Thanks, Amy. Take care. Bye-bye.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. This is Chicago's Morning Answer. Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Napa know-how.
When you buy AC Pro refrigerant at Napa for $33.99, it comes with a pressure gauge, quick connect hose, and refrigerant to make just about any car cool again. Old cars, new cars, brown cars, even cars with hand crank windows. If it has 4 wheels and an air conditioner, AC Pro refrigerant for $33.99 can make your car cool. Literally. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores. Offer expires 6/30/17.
Welcome to Geico's Motorcycle Meanderings.
Oh man, this is great. I sure saved a lot of money by switching to Geico. I scored some big savings, and now I can use their mobile app 24/7 for all sorts of stuff. Life just makes sense now. You know what doesn't make sense? If a car is called a horseless carriage, why isn't a motorcycle called a horseless horse? Maybe it would just be adding insult to injury for the out-of-work horses.
Geico Motorcycle. Savings that make sense.
There's no feeling like grabbing a seat in a comfy chair to look through memories in a photo album. It's so much more enjoyable than looking at a computer or the small screen of a smartphone. An album of photos will last a lifetime. They can't be erased or become victim of a crashed hard drive. Print your photo memories at oneclickpics.com, your online photo center. Whether they're for an album, a gift, or framed for display, you want the very best quality. You can get that from the photo experts at oneclickpics.com. OneClickPics.com is a professional photo printer. You'll be amazed at the quality of your pictures, canvas prints, invitations, or announcements. You'll see details in your photos you've never seen before. And right now, when you buy 25 printed photo cards, you get 15 free. Use promo code 15FREE at checkout. Trust your digital picture memories to the photo technicians trained in every aspect of digital photo production. OneClickPics.com. OneClickPix.com.
When you think about spring, what comes to mind? Baseball, tulips, spring cleaning? How about cleaning up your home? Hi, Amy Jacobson here to tell you about our good friends at CertaPro Painters. Spring has arrived, and it's a great time to focus on your exterior painting. Don't deny how ugly it is. You know, the chipping, peeling, eyesore of a front porch. So do what I did and call CertaPro Painters now. 1-800-GO-CERTA or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. They really are the best in the business. They're clean, responsible, talented. They increased our property values. They're such a top-notch company. They've been around for 25 years and counting. So do what I did and experience the CertaPro difference. 1-800-GO-CERTA or CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated. CertaPro Painters, we do painting, you do life.
The secret to how the rich keep getting richer is by passing down their wealth, generation to generation. If you do the same thing, you'll be leaving a legacy and be doing one of the most important things possible for the people you love. The ugly truth is, you don't have an estate plan. Everything you own, including your house, cars, investments, everything could be tied up in courts for a year or longer. It could cost your estate tens of thousands of dollars in probate and legal fees, even double government taxation. You can avoid this painful, costly mistake by contacting Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group. Tom hosts the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturday mornings at 9 on AM 560, and has been a featured expert on Fox Business, Fortune, and Money Magazine. Right now, Alpha Wealth Group is offering you a free estate planning kit if you call 630-873-6326. That's 630-873-6326. 630-873-6326. Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
Coming I'm sorry, I have a bad case of the giggles.
Thanks for the effort.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How are you preparing for doomsday at 8:38?
But first, let's go in the newsroom. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. It is 67 degrees in the Nissan of St. Charles newsroom. Nissan of St. Charles, home of the Lifetime Advantage Warranty. Some environmental and science groups say President Trump's pullout from the Paris Climate Accord will cost the U.S. in prestige. Speaking on NBC's Today Show, Wilbur Ross says he believes critics are confusing the decision to withdraw from the agreement with the idea the president is against helping the environment and the climate.
What he is saying is this particular agreement does not appeal, was destructive of U.S. economic growth going out into the future.
Meantime, GOP House Speaker Paul Ryan applauded the move and called the climate agreement a raw deal for America. President Trump wants the U.S. Supreme Court to reinstate his so-called travel ban. It's the second version of the executive order blocking travel to the U.S. from 6 mostly Muslim countries. The USS Nimitz is heading for the Western Pacific. Naval officials would not say if the aircraft carrier will cruise the waters off North Korea amid escalating tensions. Investigators continue to look for answers after police found the body of a Chicago paramedic inside a burning home in the Mount Greenwood neighborhood on the far south side. 28-year-old Robert Spoon died in that blaze yesterday. Other Democrats in the race for Illinois governor say J.B. Pritzker needs to answer more questions about those tape-recorded phone calls between he and imprisoned former Governor Rod Blagojevich. Candidate Chris Kennedy said yesterday the tapes speak for themselves. State Senator Daniel Biss says it's the same rigged game the rich and well-connected have played for years. The search is on for $500,000 in jewelry stolen from a traveling artisan attending a suburban Chicago art show. Daily Herald reporting this morning, police in St. Charles say the stolen jewelry included gold and silver as well as rubies and emeralds. Gopal Kapoor says he's made jewelry for 30 years and travels shows during the warmer months and camps in his van. He'd been at the St. Charles Fine Art Show when someone burglarized the van after he went out for dinner. Cubs return home to open up a 3-game series with rival Cardinals this afternoon. White Sox begin a 3-game set with the Tigers tonight in Detroit. The news, a service of Farmers Insurance. It takes more than a roof to make sure your home is covered. Farmers Insurance has over 89 years of knowledge and experience, so you can protect what's important to you. Learn more at farmers.com. 8:33 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Right now with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet, get one free. Visit us online at galaxyhome.com to schedule your free in-home estimate. Save an additional $500 when you book right now.
Are you buying or selling a business or starting a business? Maybe you have legal problems with a business partner or employees, or are just drowning in new regulations. You need the support of a law firm that concentrates in a wide range of business law and tax matters. You need the corporate team at Kelleher & Buckley. Whether you're a local mom and pop shop, middle market business, or a large corporation or franchise, they provide cost-effective legal solutions to help your businesses thrive. The lawyers of Kelleher & Buckley focus on targeted legal advice tailored to meet the specific needs of your business. You deserve competent legal representation from a law firm maintaining a high level of knowledge about the ever-changing laws governing businesses. One that also includes accountants and tax specialists on board to provide your business bottom-line solutions. Kelleher & Buckley, LLC of North Barrington and Chicago is a legal solution provider that also includes estate planning, asset protection, life insurance planning, and litigation. Keep your business on track. Call 847-382-9130 or online at kelleherbuckley.com.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
I'm telling you right now, it's awesome. I was trying to get my blood pressure regulated, okay? And like after 3 days of taking this thing, my blood pressure went back down to normal. I am ecstatic. I am so happy with this stuff. It is my savior.
This was the first summer that I have not had to have a steroid shot to help me to breathe.
The reason why I'm taking it because I've got Hep C. Once I began taking your stuff, it took a few months, but believe it or not, my liver enzymes are way down and it's normal now. It works.
The new challenge will allow you to receive 2 months of Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies free. And we'll even ship them to you free. Call now for details. Call 1-800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code Chicago.
It's the most effective product that I've ever bought in my life, but I should have ordered it like 15 years ago.
8:36 and a check of the roads in our Alarm Detection Systems Traffic Center. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The eastbound Eden Spur is jammed from the toll plaza onto the Edens at Dundee, where there was an earlier crash just past Dundee. And the Edens itself is heavy approaching the junction. We're looking at a travel time from Lake Cook to Montrose of 22 minutes, but it takes a long time to get to Lake Cook because of that earlier crash. Outbound, 33 minutes from Montrose to Lake Cook. The Kennedy, 42 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown. A little quicker in the locals, outbound 30 minutes. The Eisenhower, an hour and 5 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. 42 minutes from Manheim, outbound 35 to Thorndale. Inbound Stevenson jammed, Veterans Parkway to before Lamont Road. 2 right lanes are blocked, crash with injuries. It is an hour and 12 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 45 minutes. The Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. Lakeshore Drive, heavy southbound Irving Park to North Avenue and 18th to the Stevenson, northbound 31st to Jackson. Northbound Tri-State delays from the 83rd Street toll to 31st, the Reagan tollway to the Grand Avenue curve. 8094, slow eastbound Central to Ripley, westbound jammed, I-65 decline. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Mostly sunny and 85 today. Patchy clouds and 63 overnight. 67 at O'Hare, 68 along the lake. Lake Michigan water temp, 54. Your next news update is at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
More of Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy comes your way now. And make sure to join me, Larry Elder, tonight at 7, only on AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, is it the final countdown? Is it doomsday? Or did we just witness Donald Trump, President Trump, have his Howard Rourke moment? One man against the world. One man who's right, standing against the world. Here's what I would call his Howard Rourke moment.
Therefore, in order to fulfill my solemn duty to protect America and its citizens, the United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
Now, remember who we're talking about here and the quality of the evidence in support of the arguments they make, the apocalyptic arguments, end of days arguments these eschatologists of the left make. Ted Cruz at a Senate hearing. This is 2 years ago.
But it's still fun.
Well, and it's still this is an example of the support. The focus is on the glitzy Elon Musk and Silicon Valley techies and Fortune 100 CEOs and billionaire rent seekers. That's the left. And so you look at the personalities and the profiles. What about the argument? What about the evidence? What about their ability to defend their contentions? Ted Cruz, with the recently replaced president of the Sierra Club, Aaron Mayer, before a Senate hearing on the topic of climate change and climate policy, making some fair offerings into the models that have been wrong, the predictions that have been incorrect. Listen to this exchange.
If you want to end debate, you don't want to address the facts. How do you address the fact that in the last 18 years, the satellite data show no demonstrable warming whatsoever?
Sir, I would rely upon the Union of Concerned Scientists, and I would rely upon the evidence, and again, from our own NOAA officials. The data are there.
Is it correct that the satellite data over the last 18 years demonstrate no significant warming?
No.
How is it incorrect?
Based upon our experts, it's been refuted long ago, and there's no longer. It's not up for scientific debate.
The debate's over. It's not up for scientific debate. How is it incorrect? It's incorrect because it's incorrect. Nice tautology. The other thing, the NOAA data, here's the other. NOAA, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, they won't release the data. Daily Caller and other outlets have covered this, as we have over the last year. They won't release the data and the methodology behind it. Science is about peer review and the ability to replicate results. The conversation between Mayer and Cruz continued. Listen.
I want to understand this. I do find it highly interesting that the president of the Sierra Club, when asked what the satellite data demonstrate about warming, apparently is relying on staff. It's
just a mistake.
And he's
the nice thing about the satellite data is these are objective numbers.
Correct.
And the numbers over the last 18 years, are you familiar with the phrase the pause?
Conferring with staff.
What's the pause? What's the pause? Could you tell me about the pause?
The answer is yes, and essentially we rest on our position.
I'm familiar with that, and
we rest.
And I rest my case.
You didn't make a case. You didn't present one. This is classic.
This is what you're dealing with. That's the president of the Sierra Club, one of the most influential, leftist environmental groups in the world.
So withdrawal is good for American energy competitiveness, right?
Well,
they're gas leaking.
Well, yeah, I don't know. You're hopped up on energy of some
The
sort.
withdrawal is good for American energy competitiveness, right? I mean, he talked about coal mines that are going to be opening up in Pennsylvania and West Virginia, and he'd want to go to the openings.
Yes.
When these coal mines are open.
Markets, not political diktats from socialists and authoritarians or worse, is a better way to decide what our energy policy should be. Also, science. I'm happy to follow where the science leads.
But the
happy
science
I'm
is
always
not led in that direction.
Always happy to follow the evidence leads. There's no responses to questions like Ted Cruz asked 2 years ago. The response to hysteria and an inquiry is more hysteria right over the top. Well, that's just not particularly persuasive to me. I'm sorry. Bob in Buffalo Grove, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Thanks for taking my call. I just wanted to know if either of you happened to watch The Five last night. And
Never watched.
Dan doesn't watch The Five.
Juan Williams and Greg Gutfeld go at it with regards to the climate debate. And I was in support of Gutfeld saying nobody's looking at the facts. Nobody's looking at realistic scientific studies. They're regurgitating all this fake news. And like you said earlier, the Australian study.
Right. Thanks for the call, Bob. The source data they use for their talking points, that should be examined and discussed. Again, what do we know? We know over the last century the Earth's surface temperatures increased by about 1 degree Fahrenheit. Is man contributing to that? Probably, some way. Do we know the magnitude of the contribution? Not really. Does it demand a particular policy response other than being good stewards of our environment, which we should be as a matter of principle, that is transcendental to energy policy? Is it the end of days? Again, the MIT study. I just have to point this out again. The president pointed out in his speech yesterday. MIT climate scientists, nobody's calling them right-wing extremists or deniers. They did a study projecting out the impossible, that every country that's a signatory to the Paris Accord would abide their pledges on carbon emission reduction. And the result is, in the best-case scenario, 83 years from now, in the year 2100, that will have resulted in a 0.2 degree Celsius reduction in the Earth's surface temperature. Now, forgetting all the inaccuracies in these climate models, let's just take that as gospel. That shall happen. Is that a worthwhile return on investment? Does that save the planet?
Well, what I'm still trying to wrap my head around is that last year, President Obama, the administration, they shipped $1 billion in taxpayer dollars to fund this program without authorization from Congress. I mean, he was so gung-ho, like, oh, yeah, we're in this. We're going to be better.
Yeah.
We're going to be a good neighbor.
Yeah.
We're going to treat Mother Earth well.
Rich Lowry has a pretty good piece in Politico on this topic, the editor of National Review, talking about the era of unilateral rule, the increasing consolidation of power in the presidency. And that's a kind of a bipartisan / post-partisan problem in our representative republic. You've got, as others have said, it's Mark Stein, I think most notably, it's a little problem when you have the Congress acting as the judiciary and the judiciary acting as Congress. So, yeah, we've got some challenges to kind of reset the republic in a constitutional framework. There's no question. Ralph in Rantoul, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, good morning. I think since the population explosion scam about running out of space, that they couldn't figure out how to foist that on everybody. So the this global warming scam is the biggest global scam that has been devised. It's been, I think, more successful than the running out of space people explosion. And it's affecting government through NGOs and all kinds of governmental action. It's a global conspiracy. And let's get some facts. You talk about facts. Carbon footprint. Has anybody ever taken a look at an organic chemistry textbook? Our entire life system on this planet
Carbon.
is carbon-based.
Yes, right.
Okay? Carbon dioxide's not a pollutant. Collecting carbon dioxide and injecting it under the ground is stupid. We would solve more problems if we collected Democrats and injected them under the ground.
Thanks for the call, Ralph. By the way, population bomb, I mentioned this on the Medved show when we hosted yesterday. Paul Ehrlich writes this book called The Population Bomb. It turns out to be a dud. He makes a bet with Julian Simon, who is an econ professor, business professor, University of Maryland, about the forthcoming mass starvation because food production can't keep up with human population growth. And, of course, this was a neo-Malthusian argument, and we just go through these cycle after cycle after cycle because it's a predicate for a power grab from the left. So Malthus was disproved by Ricardo, and Ehrlich was disproved by Julian Simon, and just what transpired after these dire predictions. And now we're in a very similar space with a similar cast of characters making similar apocalyptic predictions. A little history lesson might be useful as part of the conversation. Don in Deerfield, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Hi, guys. Love the show. Listen to you guys every morning. Thanks for bringing that to us. So one really great book to reference, and it has many scientists within this book who are world-renowned scientists that kind of take into account a lot of different theories, hockey stick theory, just a bunch of different things that accumulate to what humans contribute to the actual effect of what's happening in the climate change, or what I call weather. The book that I reference to is called The Deniers, and it is a fabulous book that will give a little bit more insight on what a scientist looks at and how money has manipulated their answers, and in a direct correlation to what is being said out there and what the truth is, what the truth is not, and it really gives you more of an insight. So I really reference to this book as a really good source, The Deniers, and check it out and tell me what you think.
Thanks a lot, Don. Okay. Alan in Rockford.
You have a homework
Hey, guys.
assignment.
There's a book out there now called Evolution Shift, and it's David Hui or something. I can't remember his author's name, but he's been on the talk show circuit now talking about how by 2035 Florida's going to be underwater.
Right.
But they've been talking about that for 50 years, and it's never happened. And so why do these folks get a pass on just pushing these expected disaster dates out and continue to get rich in the meantime?
Absolutely. Thanks for the call, Alan. It's like with government. It's the left with government. How much more do you need? Always more. How dire is the situation? It's always dire. It's right around the corner. Well, it didn't happen. Well, but it's right around the corner. It's
coming up.
Everything that Al Gore predicted has not come to pass either. I mean, they're just this is political. That's the thing. This is not really about science. It's not about environmental stewardship. It's about economics and, frankly, economic power. That's what it's about. And Trump.
He put his foot down yesterday.
Well, and he was right about what he was saying, this being, at least in part, a redistributionist scheme. Randy in Elkhorn?
Yeah. I used to live on almost an acre, like 9/10 of an acre. And I understand that everybody on the planet can fit in Texas and have their own 9/10 of an acre.
Oh, okay. I don't know about that, but okay, that sounds
It's
interesting.
pretty close.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Randy. Appreciate it. Courtney in Miami.
Yeah, I'm from Chicago, but I want to know one thing. I'm not a real educated man like y'all, but this is one thing I look at. It's the weather.
Yeah.
'Cause I don't know if to go out and ride my bike or not. How in the heck are they going to tell us what's going to happen to the weather in 200 and 100 years from now, and 300 years from now? And they can't even predict the weather in 2 days what's going to happen and get it right.
I know.
That is a very common sense question to ask, Courtney. Thanks for the call.
Well, they
by the
claim
way,
that they get it right 80% of the time.
and
weather,
Tom
weather
Skilling.
forecast.
Tom Skilling's so accurate. It's like he's making it happen. Oh no! I wanted to ask Courtney if the fish are swimming down South Beach on the streets of South Beach, like President Obama said. They're swimming in the streets of Miami.
right.
Yeah, it's underwater or soon to be.
Used to have that sound bite.
Dennis in Villa Park.
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Soylent Green is made from people.
It's people.
People.
Thanks, Dennis. Lee and Hammond.
Yeah, hi, guys. You know, I remember since 1992 at the Rio Conference reading that ever since 1975, Maurice Strong and these Western elites decided that they needed to force austerity on working people. There wasn't enough wealth to give everybody a middle-class lifestyle with 7 billion people on the planet. So they cooked up this global warming scheme, man-made global warming, to use as a way to hit them with a carbon tax. It's like you say, it's all Malthusian. That's all this is about.
Thanks for the call, Lee. It's that, and it's environmentalism as religion too. I mean, going back to Rachel Carson and Silent Spring, and the population bomb that I mentioned, Paul Ehrlich's book in the '60s. That's what it is. This is the intellectual left in all its regalia.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
You're listening to Love Advice with Leanne. Caller, you're on the air.
Hi, Leanne. Longtime listener, first-time caller. Why, in your professional opinion, do you never take my calls off the air?
Is this Carl?
Yep, it's Carl. I mean, we had a few dates. Everything was great. I thought,
Well, you know, when you switch to Geico, you could save a lot of money on car insurance.
Okay, awesome.
You should call them.
I will.
Geico, because saving 15% or more on car insurance is always a great answer.
As a small business owner, you make every dollar count. So what could you do with $10? Go to Vistaprint.com today and you'll get 500 high-quality custom business cards for only $9.99. That's less than 2 cents per card. And at Vistaprint, your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. So it's never been easier to turn 500 strangers into connections. Just visit Vistaprint.com and use promo code 3232 at checkout. That's Vistaprint.com, promo code 3232.
That's a funny text message. Why don't you read that?
847, Tom Skilling cooks the weather like his brother cooks the books.
Oh, too
boy.
soon.
Ooh, ouch.
Bolingbrook Golf Club, don't you know it is the location of our annual golf outing this year, sponsored in part by Joe Cotton Ford. But there's more than just golf at the Bolingbrook Golf Club. Celebrate Independence Day at the Bolingbrook Golf Club this year, complete with food, fun, and a spectacular fireworks show. So you can find out all the details about their 4th of July celebration at BolingbrookGolfClub.com. That's BolingbrookGolfClub.com.
Highland Park Ford Lincoln's in the house. Here's Alan Marty.
For 30 years, we've been making people happy with incredible deals and service.
We're the best Ford Lincoln dealers in town.
Because making people happy makes us happy.
No doubt. This is one happy place.
Heck, we just break into dance all the time.
We don't break into dance at the dealership.
Sure we do.
No, we really don't.
We could. Come on, Marty, dance with me.
The Highland Park Ford Lincoln Superstore. Call 1-800-984-9000 or go to alanmarty.com.
Admit it.
Okay, you're a lovely dancer.
Thank you. This is Alan Marty. Deal with us.
Tasty Catering is bringing outdoor happiness to you and your coworkers this picnic season.
Down-home barbecue, street tacos, sausages and sandwiches, steaks, chops, fish, Greek feasts, pig roasts. The list goes on.
Tasty Catering picnic foods are more deliciously sophisticated than ever. With so many great options, everyone will be happy.
Organic, gluten-free, vegetarian, vegan, and dairy-free options never tasted so picnicky.
And your picnic doesn't stop with amazing freshly grilled food. Entertainment, rentals, decor, venue selection. Get everything you need with one single call to Tasty Catering.
Inflatables and crafts for the kids, games and athletics for the teenagers, beverage packages and entertainment options for